that won last week without playing very well, and of course, you know, the standard here is to play much better than we did, and that's what we need to do today.
Michigan has a history of cranking it up in November. It's been good, a good month for you the last couple of years. Can it be good for you again?
Well, that's exactly what you want to be. You want to be a team that finishes strong, and we have great young people here, and I know they're going to play hard.
All right, thank you, Lloyd.
Thank you.
Wolverines over the last couple of Novembers, by the way, guys, 7-1. Let's get up to the booth for the play-by-play.
Yeah, they do have a way down the stretch, don't they, Jim? Take a look at the conditions. Boy, you can't beat this in Michigan on, what is it, the 7th of November here today.
6th.
Not bad. Sunny and pleasant. Take a look at Hayden Epstein. Very strong legs, 7 kickoffs and 3 of them touchbacks last week at Indiana. And he has taken over much of the kicking duties for Jeff Del Byrne. Against Illinois, they had a field goal attempt blocked in that ball game, or an extra point blocked, and the kicking duties have been turned over to this young man. Back deep, the principal receiver, Teddy Johnson. Good speed for Northwestern. Michigan won the toss, deferred its decision. Northwestern elected to receive to start the ball game, and we could not have a better afternoon than what we have here in Ann Arbor today. And here's the approach. Epstein's kickoff. We're underway. And Teddy Johnson muffs it for a moment, now able to pick up on the 6. Johnson nowhere to go and is angled out of bounds on the far side. He was cut off by B.J. Askew. And so Northwestern will begin offensively with less than great field position at the 14-yard line. Zach Kustok, take a look at his numbers. He played much better in the second half last week, had a rough first half. Overall, he was 17 of 28, 144 yards, a couple of interceptions, one of which at the end of the first half in the end zone. Decision making will be a big part of it for him here today. Northwestern would like to get that football to the tight end if they can and try to get that man involved in the action. It's first down from the 14. Kustok, little rollout, nice throw. Thompson, the wide receiver, has come on, and Derek Thompson just across the 20. A gain of about 9 yards. Advanced Auto Parts starting lineup for the Northwestern offense. Running back Damian Anderson rushed for 102 yards and a touchdown last week. Jay Tant, I mentioned they'd like to get the ball to him at tight end. Austin King is a true freshman at the center spot. Pick up on that play of about 8 yards, make it 9. Austin King leads the offensive line up to scrimmage. Got a slot to the bottom of your screen, and out of that slot, the veteran Aaron Burrell in motion. Second down and short yardage situation. Anderson should have the first down across the 25 near the 27-yard line. The Advanced Auto Parts Michigan defense, the nose tackle Rob Arenas on the verge of becoming Michigan's first 4-time academic All-America. Outside linebacker Grady Brooks provides the pass rush from the core. And strong safety Tommy Hendricks needs to play better if Michigan's to cut down on the big plays they've been giving up. I think that Hobson, the man who replaced Grady Brooks in the lineup, Victor Hobson getting the start for Michigan at the linebacker spot. And it is first down for Northwestern. There's Jay Tant in motion out of the shotgun. Kustok keeps it on a quarterback draw off the right side of the line and gets about 3 yards to the 30-yard line. Randy Walker and company would like to get 3, maybe 4 yards on first down and continue on pace and control the football and get themselves into the third and rather short situations of 2 and 3 yards.
Very similar game plan for Northwestern as they had last week against Wisconsin. Try and get 3-4 yards on first down, get it to third and short, and they feel they can continue to make first downs and move the ball. Don't look for them to try for the big play, especially early.
Teddy Johnson's at the top of your screen on second down. Anderson had a sliver of a hole, runs hard, and gets out near the 35-yard line on a gain of about 5 yards. Tommy Hendricks supported from the secondary to make the stop for the Michigan Wolverines. Here's a look at Coach Lloyd Carr. 5th season here at Michigan. And he was not a happy camper when we visited with him yesterday.
There weren't any of the Michigan coaches that were in a very good mood yesterday. I think they realized they're not playing their best football right now. And if you don't play well, anybody can beat you. But after today, they've got Penn State and Ohio State. You know those two teams can beat you.
Here's Northwestern at 3rd and 2. 33% on third down conversions. Thompson in motion. The fake to Anderson. Quick toss into the flat. Got a man wide open. Wide open on the play is Ian Miller, and he runs hard across the 45. Got a first down near the 49-yard line. Cato June made the stop. 14-yard gain off a well-designed play, Randy.
Well-designed, called at a good time. Ian Miller has become a bigger factor in the running game, so therefore you have to respect his blocking ability. When he comes through like he just did, faking the block, wide open out in the flat on 3rd and 2. Good time to call that play. Well executed, big first down.
Ian Miller was a tailback in high school, so he has some of those natural tailback instincts and is a decent receiver out of the backfield.
Really not a true fullback because Northwestern hadn't had one the last several years.
Blitz coming. Kustok looking to throw. Steps up against the pressure of Ian Miller and gets yardage out across the 50 down to the 45-yard line of Michigan. Cato June finally brought him down, but they brought the blitz with Ian Gold, the leading tackler of the Michigan Wolverines, coming in.
Nice job by Kustok not holding on to the ball and staying in the pocket. His first read isn't there. He's a good enough runner to be able to step up in the pocket, goes north and south, doesn't try and outrun a lot of people, get as many yards as you can, and then get down.
Second down, about 4 yards to go. Opening drive of the ball game, no score at Michigan Stadium. Teddy Johnson, the man in motion. Anderson caught in the backfield. Great play by Rob Arenas. Loss of a couple of yards back to the 47-yard line.
Well, what a warrior Rob Arenas has been in the middle of that defensive line for Michigan. A fifth-year senior. You talk to his coaching staff and they tell you he just does a great job, fights off the blocks, does a nice job of not only fighting off the block, but keeping his head up so he can see what happens in the backfield and then finishes it with the tackle.
Out of Holland, Michigan. Third down now. 6 yards to go, Northwestern.
And this is a situation Michigan's defensive secondary has not responded this year, giving up a lot of big plays back there.
Kustok from the shotgun gets motion from Johnson again. And whistles hold up the play. David Whitvote is the Big Ten official we'll be hearing from.
Prior to the snap, delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. The down remains 3rd.
Well, Randy Walker can't be happy with that. This is going to make things a little more difficult. They have not really started strong. It's taken the Wildcats several possessions really to get into their games. Not many points on those opening drives. They haven't scored since Duke in the non-conference season. Second game of the year. Third down, almost 11. Tant, the tight end, in motion. Kustak's pass wide of the mark, intended for Aaron Burrell on the near side. It defended by David Terrell. We mentioned the wide receiver. Michigan's leading wide receiver would also play some cornerback in passing situations, and we saw evidence of it there. So it's fourth down for the Wildcats.
A play that really should have been converted by Kustok. He had Burrell open. Burrell did a nice job running his route. David Terrell gave him a lot of cushion. Really could have been a completable pass.
And the punt, Diallo Johnson. Good move across the 15. Michigan's first offensive possession will begin at the 21-yard line when we resume. 21-yard line of Michigan. First offensive possession for the home team. The A-train, Anthony Thomas coming through the line. Out across the 25-yard line. Tom Brady played the whole game, as we mentioned, last week at Indiana, and apparently will take this team down the stretch as its starting quarterback, and he is moving up on the Michigan passing charts.
You look at that, Wayne, and this is a guy that has split time most of every game this year and most of the games last year. He's had an amazing run when he's been in there. Very productive.
Second down for the Wolverines, about 3 yards to go. Brady. I believe he was going for the deep receiver on the near side, Marcus Knight. The Advanced Auto Parts Michigan starting offense. Anthony Thomas has been very hot the last 2 weeks, playing with a broken finger on his right hand. David Terrell, the leading receiver, and the center, David Brandt, has taken over as the full-time starter on that offensive line.
lot of injuries in that offensive line. A lot of different guys have had a chance to play. This is the healthiest their line has been all season.
Double tights on the line, 3rd and 3. Knight in motion, and the toss to the running back. Anthony Thomas, first down. Boy, you can hear the pop of the pads as he made contact with Billy Silva. First down out near the 36-yard line. Take a look at the Northwestern defense. Darrell Hodge, a steady veteran on the defensive front. The outside linebacker, Napoleon Harris, 3rd leading tackler in the Big Ten, is a thunderous hitter. And the strong safety, Kyle Sanders, steps in the starting lineup for the injured Michael Jones. There's Napoleon Harris, as you saw just a moment ago. There he is. He and Bentley. Boy, bookend outside linebackers. Not bad. Nice hole up the middle. Thomas stuffed back on the play by Rashad Morton. Pickup of about 4 to the 41.
When you talk about the linebackers with Bentley and Harris, and Billy Silva, who is starting his 2nd game as the middle linebacker, has played so well that they've considered moving Conrad Emmerich, the normal starting linebacker, to the defensive line position. So all 3 of those linebackers for the Wildcats, sophomores, playing very well.
No seniors start on this defense.
Only one on the entire team, and that's the tight end, J10.
2nd down. Brady going over the top deep for Marcus Knight, and the pass sails incomplete. To Studio 66, Mike Gleason, Maryland, NC State. What's happening, Mike?
Well, Wayne, they're
coordinator, the head coach at Maryland, getting that situation turned around. He's been there a couple of years now. 3rd down for Michigan. They took their hop down field. That's what they do on their 3rd down conversions. And out of shotgun, Brady. Good protection. His pass knocked down, incomplete. Salem Simon, the man who got his hands in the air and knocked it down.
Take a look at this play before, Wayne. You hear about Anthony Thomas as a runner. Take a look at number 8, Napoleon Harris, the left side of your screen. He's going to come in full steam. Take a look at that hit Thomas puts on him. Gives Brady plenty of time to throw the ball. Complete player. You've said Thomas has really been on a roll all phases of the game.
Hayden Epstein gets good leverage into this punt. And no fair catch. Derek Thompson on the return, and he's ushered to the chalk marks on the near side as a penalty marker flies. Penalty marker down on the play. 39-yard punt, and we'll get a look at what the flag is all about. That was thrown kind of late, Randy, and I'm wondering maybe someone hit him out of bounds, but didn't look like it initially. We'll see.
I think Michigan thought that Thompson was going to fair catch that ball, and when he didn't, they were a little caught off guard.
Ooh, it's against Northwestern. Personal foul against the Wildcats. Randy Walker looks on with great concern. David Whitbow.
After the play, personal foul, late hit on the returning team. Half the distance penalty, 1st down.
So Northwestern will start deep in its own territory when we resume at Michigan. No score. Andy Wright, Jim Barber, welcome back to Michigan. Northwestern begins its 2nd drive of the game from its 13-yard line. Jay Tant, the tight end in motion, sets himself as a fullback because they're running the football. Damian Anderson read it to the right, to the outside, and he's taken down by Jason Patak. To Studio 66, Mike Gleason for an update on the Penn State game. Fire in that game, that matchup at Penn State. Anderson gets the call again. Breaks a tackle across the 20. Jim Barber's with us on the sidelines.
Wayne, Randy Walker and Lloyd Carr know each other from way back, and most recently 1995 when the 2 head coaches squared off here at Michigan Stadium. Then Walker, coach of Miami in Ohio. In fact, that game pretty competitive for a while before his team lost 38-19. I asked him this morning about the fans here. He says, you know what? They're very classy fans. They know the game. They'll stick around with you. And they really are a lot nicer than some of the fans I encountered in the South when I coached in North Carolina.
Yeah, Jim, I wonder if Lloyd Carr thinks they're very nice fans with some of the losses that he's had this year.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, isn't it?
They're always nice when you win.
Sure.
3rd and short. Kustok looking downfield. Jay Tant could not quite disengage enough from Tommy Hendricks in the secondary of the Michigan Wolverines, and the pass throw overthrown. Kustok struggled in the first half last week against Wisconsin.
Struggled with his accuracy and his decision making. Tried to force some things. Second half, he really seemed to settle down much better. Northwestern can't afford to have that kind of poor performance in the first half here today.
J.J. Standering's punt. D'Elo Johnson waves it off, and it takes a Northwestern carom all the way inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. Michigan coming out on offense for the second time this afternoon following a 61-yard Standering punt. In the land, the Michigan Wolverine marching band. First down for the Wolverines, second offensive possession of the game, and Thomas wants to go wide. Boy, he is met on the flank of that defense by Kyle Sanders. We mentioned Sanders, a fifth-year senior out of Jackson, Michigan. This is a very big game for him in his home state.
Big game for him because he gets to step up here and start. Does a nice job of coming out of that secondary and not only making the contact, but bringing Thomas down. Tough to bring Thomas down one-on-one. Sanders doesn't give up any yardage. Once contact's made, runs him right out of bounds.
Take a look at Anthony Thomas. He carries the ball a lot. Second down, about 8. Brady. Plenty of time. David Terrell. Chagoo Cummings John on the stop at the 29-yard line. It is a first down on a gain of 10.
As much as Michigan would like to run the ball and will continue to do so throughout the day from what we believe, they still need to mix the passing game in there. The linebackers for Northwestern are too good just to challenge up play after play, and as well as Brady's been throwing the ball, when you have weapons like David Terrell, you got to take advantage of that also.
They mark it just short of the 30-yard line of Michigan for the Wolverines. Slot to the top of your screen, the offset eye. Good protection for Brady, getting into a comfort zone. Nice throw, and Terrell springs for another first down to the 44-yard line. Pick up a 14 yards on that play.
Now, Tom Brady has really been on fire this entire season. He comes into today's game completing 64% of his passes. One of the things you know about his physical ability, but his mentally reading the defenses. Very few mistakes. That time lets the play develop and then just throws a perfect strike to Terrell.
Some premature movement on the offensive front are the Michigan Wolverines. And that did not escape the eyes of that man, the referee, David Whitvote. David Terrell having a good season. On the offensive side of the football,
You take a look.
Start by Michigan is the penalty.
Take a look at the 48 receptions, only 3 touchdowns. He's also carried the ball 5 times, though, just as a little mix in there, mostly on reverses.
And he plays on third down packages on the defense, so kind of does it all. Big hole there. And the 8 train rumbles through the tunnel. Out across the 45 to the 47, a gain of 9 yards. Cummings John and Billy Silva collaborate on the stop.
You see how the passing game can set up the running game. A lot of teams try and do it the other way around. Here, a couple of successful passes, and now a huge hole for Thomas to run through.
Walter Cross enters the lineup for Michigan at the tailback spot. Sophomore, Fort Washington, Maryland. Brady looking downfield. Marcus Knight cannot hang on. Coverage provided on the play by Harold Blackman.
Nice play by Blackman to come up and force that ball out. Contact was made just at the right time. Take a look at the bottom of the screen right here. Blackman's got him one-on-one. Nice route, but Blackman comes back and makes contact right as the ball gets there, pulls Knight's arms away. Just a good defensive stand by Blackman and pretty good pressure on Brady. Still made an excellent throw.
Yeah, he was in a tight pocket. Third down, Michigan. Deep drop for Brady out of the shotgun. Wide open, David Terrell. Change of field across the 35 to the Northwestern 32-yard line. Napoleon Harris finally caught up with him. 22-yard gain.
But if you had any question about Tom Brady's arm strength, that was answered on that play. But it's easier to throw when your receiver's this open. Here you see Terrell. There's not even a white shirt in the picture right there. You saw right there Napoleon Harris had fallen down earlier, and that leaves Terrell wide open. Does a nice job of cradling the ball in.
From the 32, first down. Anthony Thomas, short yardage, maybe to the 29-yard line, gain of 2 or 3 yards. Pete Konopka came over to make the stop.
Wayne, we talked a few minutes ago about David Terrell as a wide receiver and a defensive back, especially on third downs. Make no mistake, though, as opposed to a few years ago when Charles Woodson played both ways but came over as a receiver, David Terrell is an offensive guy that just helps out on defense.
No question about that. And Brady, I mentioned early, his first couple of passes early in this ball game, very little pressure. He seemed to get into a comfort zone, Randy. When a quarterback, his first few throws, he isn't under much pressure. Is that something that carries over? Sets up a screen here to Aaron Shea. Nice cutback move by Shea, and he's inside the 30-yard line. I wonder if a quarterback gets off to a comfortable start behind center, not that he completes the passes or anything, but he's comfortable. Does that carry over as the game goes along?
I think it very definitely carries over. And Tom Brady right now is going out there with a lot of confidence in his offensive line. They're healthy. They haven't been healthy much this year, and he knows this team can move the ball through the air. When he sees it moving it well on the ground, then his confidence even builds more, knowing he's got a multi-offense going.
8-play drive already that's taken 3 minutes, 3 first downs. Brady, lots of time once again. He's got Terrell, leaping grab, touchdown, Michigan. "26 yards over Shagu Cummings-John."
We just talked about the confidence Tom Brady has in his offensive line. That time he stood back there, held the ball, gave David Terrell time to get behind Cummings-John, and then threw the perfect pass.
And you know, the point I was trying to make, Randy, a moment ago was if you let a quarterback, you hit a quarterback early in a ball game, even if the protection is better later in the game, the quarterback still doesn't think so. If you don't get to him early, the quarterback thinks he's got a comfort zone all the way. This time Epstein misses the extra point. So the kicking woes continue for the Wolverines, but they are on the board first here at Michigan Stadium in the final 4 minutes of this first quarter.
Take a look at how you run routes. There, Cummings-John guessing that Terrell was going to go to the outside, guessed wrong, and Terrell just went right by him. Nice job of running that route, setting up the defensive back, and going right by him, getting open.
David Terrell,
only a sophomore.
Boy, I tell you what, I think some young players on both of these teams are going to be around for a while. Terrell came in the leading receiver, his 4th touchdown of the season. Ran a 4.3 140 at the Penn State camp as a high schooler. And then went to Michigan. I bet you Joe Paterno said, how did that happen?
If he's running a 4.31, I wouldn't be guessing if I'm Cummings-John that he's going to the outside. I'm guessing he's going deep.
Well, Jim Barber, a couple of weeks ago, we were here at Michigan, and that missed extra point came into play, didn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting, guys. A lot of people on the sidelines were still talking about that even as I approached the game today. I did watch the coaches and the way they approached the players after the missed extra point, and instead of being angry, and I'm sure they were disappointed, they were really very supportive and hopefully allowing them to keep their heads in the game and keep their confidence going. But that Illinois kick still weighs on a lot of people and a lot of fans here 14 days after the fact, guys.
There's a look at the scoring drive. Pretty catch by David Terrell. Nice drop by Tom Brady. Epstein's kickoff. Good leverage. Pretty good depth into this one. Very good depth, matter of fact. Teddy Johnson downs it. And Northwestern will settle for the football at its 20-yard line to begin its 3rd offensive possession of the game.
Wayne, that graphic we showed up there, the 12th time this year Michigan has had a drive over 80 yards. That's an amazing feat when you consider they're not really doing it on the ground. They're doing it more through the air. That's when your holding penalties can happen. That's when you usually have some dropped passes, things that can kill a drive. Not so with Michigan.
The ACC Big Ten challenge. Well, I tell you what, catch the early fireworks at Chicago's United Center when Illinois takes on Duke in the Big Ten Challenge, ACC Challenge, called the United Center Box Office or Ticket Master. And the numbers on your screen when we put them up there. The action comes your way Tuesday, November 29th at 8 p.m. Sack here. Kustak sacked back inside the 20-yard line.
Kustak just got the ball away, and you can see, though, where the pressure that comes in early. We talked about it with Brady having plenty of time. Kustak, though he hasn't been sacked and given up the negative yardage, has been hit right as he's throwing the ball, and that's going to be weighing on his mind as this game goes on.
2nd down. And it appeared Northwestern got it back. Back inside the 20-yard line near the 17.
Take a look here. There's really not any room for Damian Anderson to run. We've seen this happen several times. He can't even get his momentum going, and as he's trying to stutter with his feet, loses the ball. Kustok wisely paying attention, jumps back in there, and fortunately for the Wildcats, gets back on it.
Take a look at this. The least turnovers in the nation. Northwestern's right up there with Michigan. Out of the shotgun, Kustok under a blitz, sets up a screen. Anderson, and boy, the man who blew up that play really was James Whitley, the cornerback. He would not be blocked, and that allowed Eric Wilson to flow to the football. Cato June also in the neighborhood.
That's exactly right, Wayne. James Whitley does a nice job of getting out there. Mike Souza, number 56 for Northwestern, was in position, and had he thrown that block, would have given his back a chance to get the first down. Just an outstanding play by Whitley.
J.J. Standring on in punt formation. Michigan to get good field position here. A line drive kick. Yellow Johnson made the first man miss. Now he's got some healthy yardage. To the Northwestern 34-yard line. Kyle Sanders made the stop. 35-yard punt, 18-yard return. Take a look at that last third down play.
Take a look. That's James Whitley, number 5, right there. You'll see Souza, number 56, doesn't get the block on him. Whitley fights through, and then, although he doesn't make the tackle, slows Anderson down enough for the pursuit to catch up.
Michigan just inside the 35 of Northwestern. Lloyd Carr's bunch, a golden opportunity to stake out to a double-digit lead if they can convert here. There's the quick toss to Terrell in the flat, and hammered down nicely by Harold Blackman. Excellent coverage by the Northwestern cornerback, a junior out of Chicago.
It's no fun being a kicker in this league. No matter how good or bad you are, what size you are, everybody goes after you. Kind of like being a quarterback. Plays over. This guy's not going to make a tackle. They just go after you and attack you.
That kicker was trying to twist that helmet off the Wolverine there, wasn't he?
Trying to stay an arm's distance away from him. Don't get into my body.
2nd and 10. Marcus Knight in motion. They come to the near side. Anthony Thomas, penalty markers are down, and Harold Blackman makes the stop on the near side. Northwestern's cornerbacks get very much involved, obviously from the pass coverage standpoint, but also in supporting the run.
Well, they need to come up as teams trying to attack the outside because the inside is so well defensed by those linebackers. We have 2 different flags down, Wayne. I don't necessarily think they're for the same thing.
Looked like 2 different infractions against Michigan, blocking below the waist and perhaps a hold. Is that what the first indication was? You can get a quick look at it. They'll take.
There are 2 penalties. Illegal crackback block on the offense. That penalty is declined. Holding on the offense. Penalty is accepted 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 2nd down.
Take a look. We'll see the holding is deep in the backfield on the tight end right there. But here's the crackback block that's going to go against Kyle Sanders, number 31, the safety. Number 85, Marcus Knight, was the one guilty of that infraction. The reason you take the holding penalty is a spot foul happens from where the infraction took place, and that was deep in Michigan's backfield, so you get extra yards.
And now it becomes 2nd and long, 2nd at about 24 yards to go. Football back to the Northwestern 39. Michigan leading 6-0, late stages, 1st quarter. Brady out of the shotgun, looks downfield. And he's got the tight end. Penalty markers all over the field. And Benny Jeffrou caroms out of bounds inside the 30-yard line.
When you get a tight end that is that open against a man-to-man defense on that short a route, usually there's going to be some kind of a pick, some kind of rub, something against the offense for pass interference.
Interference, the call against Michigan. That'll wipe out a 21-yard gain.
You usually don't get, generally not your fastest receivers that open that quickly without something like that happening.
Lloyd Carr wants
Pass
a full
interference.
explanation.
Offense. 15 yards. Previous spot. Repeat. Second down.
Well, do you have any 2nd and 39s coming up?
Take a look at number 8, Napoleon Harris, coming across the screen cover, and there's the blatant block by Bill Seymour trying to free up Japru, and several different officials threw the flag. That was rather obvious.
Well, one tight end freed up the other.
You know, generally in the huddle, you call that play a rub, because if an official hears a pick or anything, that's illegal. So you call it a rub, and you're supposed to just kind of nonchalantly get in the way.
Well, he rubbed the wax right off of that table, didn't he?
There wasn't anything nonchalant about that rub.
2nd and long. Very long. Lots of time for Brady. Marquise Walker could not hang on. Out of bounds.
Nice play by Blackman getting over there. The ball hung up in the air just a little too long and gave Blackman a chance to get over there. And if you think 2nd and long was a tough one to call, 2nd 39.
Yeah, what do you have on 3rd and 39?
You're playing for field position right here. You don't think you're going to get the first down. If you can pick up 10, 15, 20 yards, you're playing field position. You give your punter that much more room, and you hope to back Northwestern's offense up.
The football's at the 36-yard line of Michigan. The first down marker is at the 24 of Northwestern. I don't know how many of these they've had in that 3rd and long package you're seeing on the bottom of your screen, but a lot to go here. Brady going deep for Walker. Almost had him. Penalty markers down. Penalty markers down, and near the 20-yard line they went after Harold Blackman on the coverage.
Strange defensive call for Northwestern that time. Now, there is also a penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage. The interference against Northwestern deep, but this could offset if this penalty at the line of scrimmage is against Michigan, and that's where they're headed, back towards the original line.
Yep. They might have a hold against
Two
Michigan.
penalties. Pass interference, defense, holding, offense. The penalty's offset. Repeat. 3rd down.
Take a look at the entire play here, see if we can pick up the hold. Brady's got plenty of time back here in the pocket. And there you'll see his receiver, Walker, has his man beat, and Blackman just runs up. Take a look at the second look here on the pass interference as Blackman waving his hands. Good call there. Strange defensive call, though, for Northwestern to come after Brady and go man-to-man against these receivers.
4 wide receivers set. Brady again going deep. Diallo Johnson cannot bring it down, and even if he did, he would have been out of bounds.
This time Northwestern playing a zone defense. If you give up the reception in front of you, you don't give up the first down. Very fortunately for Northwestern, that play before that Michigan was guilty of the hold. Why they went with a man-to-man and blitzed after Brady when they haven't put much pressure on him on 3rd and 39, I don't agree with that call.
Penalty marred drive ends for Michigan in this punt. Epstein, again, good leverage into this kick. Muff juggle, but caught. And look at this. Out across the 35-yard line. Derek Thompson, 17-yard return. Eric Wilson made the stop on the play. We'd like to take this time to thank our Big Ten corporate sponsors. Illinova, the official energy sponsor of today's Big Ten football game. Illinova provides energy plus solutions for business. Power up with Illinova.
Had the last play, would have given them excellent field position to punt the ball deep down into Northwestern territory. Didn't happen. Northwestern's got good field position now.
Damian Anderson out near the 40-yard line on a gain of a couple of yards. Tommy Hendricks supported from the secondary to make the stop for Michigan as the first quarter winds to a close here in Ann Arbor. The Michigan Wolverines scored the only touchdown of the game, and that's the only points of the game at a 6-0 verdict thus far. Andy Wright, Jim Barber, great to have you with us in Ann Arbor as Michigan leads Northwestern 6-0. The Wildcats at a 2nd down and 8. The football just across the 39 in their own territory as we begin the second quarter. Jay Tant in motion, and here's a little option play. A nice move made by Anderson, Damian Anderson, out near the 45. To Studio 66, Mike Gleason for some MAC conference action. Mike.
Oh, Wendy Toledo Rockets over in Mount Pleasant, Michigan to take on the Chippewas. Eric Flowers, another of the many talents.
Conference schools in September, and I think it really helps their programs overall, not only financially, but they get better personnel into their programs when they play a few Big Ten schools along the way. Oh, boy, I tell you what, perfect defense for that call. All over it. Victor Hobson coming across from the linebacking core, playing today in place of the injured Grady Brooks. And the Buick first quarter statistics, and look at the disparity on the passing yards.
And Michigan took advantage of that disparity, turning one of them into a touchdown. Northwestern needs to be able to mix some things in. Really haven't had a lot of chances in the passing game. Not a lot of open receivers.
A low snap and a high kick by Standring. And D'Elo Johnson makes the catch near the 25-yard line of Michigan, where the Wolverines will take over, leading 6-0 early second quarter. Stadium on a beautiful sun-splashed November afternoon. Billy Silva, the Northwestern defense, getting set to dig in against the Michigan Wolverine offense. First down, Michigan at the 26. Little play action. Brady's had all day to throw back there, and that pass wide of the mark. He led David make that, David Terrell to the far side underneath the coverage of Shagu Cummings-John. Jim Barber, what can you tell us on Anthony Thomas?
Well, the A-Train's 42 carries last week, guys. Remarkable considering the heat of the day in Bloomington, Indiana. Temperatures got up near 80 degrees. Of course, his coach loved his effort, even though he might have been gassed at the end. He said, this kid is quite a warrior. At one point, Lloyd Carr said, I want him to get the ball 15 to 20 times a game. One writer said to another after that, maybe he meant 15 to 20 times a half.
Second and 10. Here's the A-Train. Anthony Thomas across the 30 to the 31 on a gain of 5 yards. And it'll be third down coming up for Michigan. Anthony Thomas broke a finger on his hand against Illinois and missed the better part of the second half of that game.
Wayne, let's go back 2 plays. The previous pass play. Watch Terrell stumble and fall down. This is the kind of thing when you're ahead 6-0, you're not very comfortable. This very well could have been an interception. With Terrell falling down like that, Brady was in his throwing motion, couldn't pull the ball down. Fortunately, the ball went out of bounds instead of getting intercepted.
We've seen him slip a couple of times here today in this first half.
You get into November in the Big Ten, the field is going to become unpredictable.
Brady drills sidelines, nicely done. D'Elo Johnson, first down, just across the 40-yard line. Boy, Tom Brady, they don't talk about it very much because Drew Henson has all the physical tools you look for in a quarterback, including a cannon of an arm. But Brady has a pretty strong arm to make this throw here, Randy.
Very strong arm and a lot of guys. This time we see Cummings-John, the defensive back, #1, slipping and falling down. And that's why Johnson was so open. One of the things with this Michigan offense, though, Wayne, whether it's Terrell or Knight or Walker or Johnson, you can interchange them. They are very deep at that position and very talented.
Field was covered last night. They had some early morning moisture on it as they go to the fullback for a short gain. Shea on the carry, and or make that Thomas on the carry for a short gain. Let's go to Studio 66, Mike Gleason. Second down here for Michigan. Thomas again, big hole up the middle to Northwestern territory, down to the 45-yard line. Anthony Thomas through a gaping hole in the middle of that Northwestern defense. Kevin Bentley made the stop of the play.
Take a look at Thomas get hit. This is a previous play. He goes right by Kevin Bentley. Take a look at him get hit by his own guy. Now, it's hard enough when the other team is hit you that many times. Here, when you get hit by your own guy, then you really feel you're going uphill.
A casualty of friendly fire on that play. Nice tackle made by number 76, Steve Hutchinson.
I didn't see a white jersey in the picture. That could have been a huge play.
Gain of 12 of the previous play, meanwhile. It's first down. Brady deep drop, play action, going for it all. To Marcus Knight, touchdown!
Michigan touchdown.
Wayne, we hear from these coaches this team wants to run the football and work on the running game, but when you got a quarterback as hot as Brady and so many weapons on the outside, you got to throw it. That's where their strength is, and that's where their big plays have come and will continue to come.
Hayden Epstein with a point after. Michigan's lead reaches double digits. 13-0 Michigan now. Marcus Knight with as pretty a catch as you'll ever see off a gorgeous throw From Tom Brady, the fingertip catch. Man, that's good. Back at Michigan, the Wolverines in the end zone for the second time through the air. Play action doesn't just freeze linebackers. It affects everybody involved, doesn't it?
And when it affects your safeties, you leave your corners out to hang. Take a look to play action. Freezes the safety, number 31, Kyle Sanders. He's supposed to have deep third. That's why your cornerback, Cummings John, is giving the inside to Marcus Knight, expecting safety help. When the safety's not there, this is what's going to happen.
Aiden Epstein. And appears to be kicking with the wind. Well, this one backs up on him a little bit, taken by one of the up backs. The freshman, Louis Ianni, a nice return across the 30-yard line. The Wildcats off to a slow start offensively here. Their field position has not been exemplary except for their last start.
And with only 8 plays in the first drive and 3 the next 3 drives, they're giving their defense no rest.
That's the big key. Three and out.
That not only affects you now, Wayne, but that really affects you in the fourth quarter.
Randy Walker and company down now 13-0. Kustok. Got a block from Anderson, but the man Anderson blocked still got up into the air and made the play. Tommy Hendricks knocked it down. Elsewhere in college football, check the lower third of your screen. Minnesota on top of Penn State on the road. Penn State struggled a bit at Illinois last week. Michigan State the lead on Ohio State. Kansas State, Colorado. I mean, Florida, Pittsburgh's a much better team than people expected. Maryland now, North Carolina State tied at 10 apiece.
Better teams. I think Minnesota's a better team than many people expected, and they're playing like it today.
Kustok off to a 3-for-7 start in the passing game. Anderson around the end. Cuts it back, first down. A lot more than a first down. In the Michigan territory to the 44-yard line. Tate Shansky made the stop. 23-yard gain. Damian Anderson's showing some jets here.
Just a big play. Take a look at Anderson running to the outside. Now see if we can pick up 41 for Michigan. The safety coming up right there. Hendricks out of position. Comes up. Anderson runs right by him. When you're a free safety, you've got to make those kind of plays. That's why Michigan in their secondary has given up so many big plays.
And it was the angle he took, right, Randy?
Absolutely.
Kustok off play action. And the pass sails incomplete. Intended for Derek Thompson. He could not disengage from the coverage down the sidelines.
Pretty good coverage down the sidelines. But take a look at the pressure on the quarterback. Kustok just hasn't had time to let these long plays develop. This pass play takes a while, and Kustok knows he's got to get rid of the ball maybe a split second quicker than he'd like to.
Big Eric Wilson who came in on him.
Now, Michigan has not had a lot of success with sacks on opposing quarterbacks. Only 19. That's in the bottom half of the Big Ten.
Coming on the blitz. The option to the near side. Anderson unable to get around the end effectively. He did pick up about 5 yards to the 39. Tommy Hendricks, a better angle that time on the running play, made the stop.
You know, it was a better angle, but still he's got to reach out and make an arm tackle, and you're not going to bring down Damian Anderson with a lot of arm tackles. He's a strong, powerful runner, and a guy that gets better as the game goes on. It's carried the ball over 240 times this year. That's a problem with the Wolverines in their secondaries. They're giving up a lot of big plays because of missed tackles and poor pursuit angles.
25%, well, a little less than 25% for Northwestern. 20% on third down conversions. Kustok bobbled the snap. Now he's on his own. Kustok gets the first down. He just lowered his shoulder into James Whitley and gets the first down.
Nice job by Derek Thompson, the wide receiver, number 9 for Northwestern. Take a look as the ball is bobbled. Kustok destroys the timing of the play. Feels much more comfortable as he runs, and Derek Thompson, number 9, now sees that, becomes a blocker. Kustok uses him and allows, and Thompson, by blocking, allows Kustok to pick up the first down.
Now it is 1st and 10. Northwestern to the Michigan 32. Anderson. Not a lot there. Gets to the 30-yard line. Studio 66. Mike Gleason sitting by for an update from the SEC. And a personal foul against Northwestern.
I think we're going to see one of the receivers for Northwestern coming in with a block late almost towards the end of the play. Take a look right here.
After the play, personal foul, late hit.
Ooh, there's the late hit. Derek Thompson taking out the leads of Tate Chansky. Second personal foul against Northwestern.
You wonder about that type of hit, Randy. That's just something that when you see it like that, the play's basically over. Chansky's not even involved in it.
You wonder about the intent of it.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, that's something that that you question. I mean, you question the intent of that because it was quite obvious the play was over. Second and long now. Off the penalty. Snap fumbled out of the shotgun, covered back in Northwestern territory by Damian Anderson at the 49-yard line.
When you go back to that previous personal foul and you question the intent, as here we'll see again Kustok bobble the snap, trying to get the ball down and hand off to Damian Anderson, and Anderson as he falls on it right here. But Northwestern had some momentum. They had some things going. They had a first down relatively deep in Michigan territory. Now they've got a third and forever.
Jim Barber, David Terrell out there in the corner.
Doing some ankle taping right now, guys. Seem to have stubbed his foot a bit so far. We'll see if he gets back in action shortly.
Kustok tripped up maybe by his guard or center as he pulled back, and this drive so promising a moment ago. 1st and 10 of the Michigan 32 will end back in Northwestern territory at the 45.
Well, Kustok's having trouble whether he's in the shotgun or under center. This time under center, he's going to get stepped on by his right guard, who, number 70, Brian Hammerly, steps back too much and steps on Kustok's foot, causes him to go down. But whether it's shotgun or under center, Kustok needs to get a handle on the ball.
Standring's punt under no pressure. Yellow Johnson waves it off. And Northwestern covers it inside the Michigan 20. The Wolverines to start near their 18, leading 13-0 over the Wildcats.
So far, the Wolverines leading 13-0, and a better afternoon for David Terrell, who was getting his ankle tape moments ago. Then you saw him on defense quickly. Apparently just needed a little bit more support for the ankle, guys. He's okay.
Anthony Thomas. Out across the 25 to the 27-yard line, gain of 8 or 9 yards. Napoleon Harris, Billy Silva combined on the stop.
You know, Wayne, one of the reasons we see David Terrell on defense early is because Michigan has very little depth in their secondary, and that's one reason they haven't held leads late in the game is their defensive backs get tired, give up a lot of big plays. The more you can give some of those players a break early, hopefully the better they'll be able to perform late in the game.
They've got 2 young cornerbacks, Jeremy LeSueur and Brandon Williams, both true freshmen, both being held out of this game, obviously, due to injuries. And that was part of the depth they had planned on. They'll get a red shirt for LeSueur. Faking the reverse, Brady going over the top. Marcus Knight double covered and unable to get to it. There is a penalty marker down to the play. And did they have a flag out on that play or not? Apparently not. Lineman of the Week is brought to you by eFollett.com. For new and used college textbooks, get out of line with eFollett.com. Courtney Brown, senior defensive end, last week a busy day against Illinois. 8 tackles, 3 sacks, forced a fumble, leads the Big Ten in tackles behind the line of scrimmage with 21. 3rd down and short. Anthony Thomas going wide. Got the first down, ridden out of bounds on the far side. So 1st down across the 30-yard line near the 31. Napoleon Harris escorted him to the chalk marks in front of the Northwestern bench.
Pretty well defensed by Northwestern that time, though, forcing Thomas to run lateral, not letting him turn up the field. Pretty good job all the way to the sideline. Now, he only needed a yard or 2, but pretty good job.
A lot of 3s and outs for Northwestern, and that's led to this. Michigan's had time of possession on its side, and they've used it to pile up some yardage in this game, as well as 13 points against defensive coordinator Jerry Brown's unit.
Well, he knew he was going to have to come in here and face a balanced offense, and those are always the hardest to defend when you can run the ball with a back like Thomas, and knowing Michigan's committed to the run, but yet you've got Brady and that group of receivers. That's a tough offense to try and defense, and Michigan has pretty much had their way today.
Harold Blackman is injured on the far sidelines for Northwestern, and they held up the game for just a moment. And now he's helped to his feet, so hopefully he'll be all right, but we'll check on his status coming up. Michigan first down football at the Wolverine 31. And again, Anthony Thomas gets the call, picks up about 5 yards out across the 35. And let's go to Studio 66. Mike Gleason. Track off and off a week. Walter Cross gets the call on this dive off right guard, and he's just short of the first down on a gain of a couple of yards. Mid portion of that Northwestern defense rising to the occasion. Northwestern defense has been on the field a lot, as you pointed out earlier, Randy, and that takes a toll, and especially when you're playing on the road against a team with the potential of Michigan.
Especially through the passing game, because they can score points and add them up quickly. Michigan, though, trying to run the ball. You see Walter Cross in there for that carry. He didn't have as many carries as their coaches would like because the games haven't been out of reach like they would like.
Good stiff arm move by Thomas, and the A train down the tracks, off to the races. Touchdown, Michigan. 60 yards.
Michigan touchdown, a 60-yard run.
Another huge play for this Michigan offense, this time, though, through the ground. And when you look at a back like Thomas having over 200 carries, his previous long run was only 39 yards. You can see on that one, it wasn't because of lack of speed, as he just outran that Wildcat secondary.
Boy, when he gets going down those tracks, I tell you what, hard to catch him, like a runaway locomotive. Epstein's extra point is good. Anthony Thomas caps a 82-yard, 6-play drive, going 60 yards down the track.
Well, there's always one guy on the secondary that's unaccounted for, and you kind of tell your back, you got to beat him. Here, Thompson stiff arms Kyle Sanders right there, and then look at the block by number 4. Walker stays with his man and allows Thomas to run right by him, and then it's just a foot race.
And right down those tracks to the station, which is the end zone.
Very seldom, Wayne, do you have a good running game without wide receivers that block.
Take a look at this.
Very balanced, more so than their season average has been.
Line drive kick, squibbing toward the far side, picked up by one of the upbacks. Brian Marshall on the return, out across the 30 to about the 34-yard line, where Northwestern will put it in play. In all the consternation about the ground game here at Michigan not being, so to speak, together or on track or as potent as they would like, I think it's special teams. Randy, you and I talked about it. You take a look at their special teams, and it's been a drain on the Michigan offense altogether at times this season. If they can tighten things up in their return game and their coverage units and the kicking game itself, that bode well for the last 2 games of the regular season coming up for the Wolverines, where they must be at their best. Little swing pass into the flat. Damian Anderson does draw a crowd out near the 35, gain of just 2 yards. Howard and Whitley on the stop. Just the 4th completion of the game for Zach Kustok. Another rough start to his ball game, as was the case last week.
When you've got more punts as a team than completions, you're not doing very well.
No kidding. Unless you got a back going 60 yards to carry.
That's not going to happen either. You're not doing very well.
Indeed. Anderson nowhere to go. Boy, they have snuffed it out. And he is stung back, maybe lost a half yard. Dahani Jones on the stop.
Wayne, you go back to the point you were making about Michigan's special teams. Their special teams have not been very good this year, and it puts your defense in a tough spot because the offense generally has good field position. It lets them open things up much more, and that's where the big plays have come, and Michigan has paid that price. Better special teams back up the opposing offense. They have to play much more conservative. Therefore, it helps your defense.
They haven't been able to get the tight end involved in the offense. defense. Jay Tance on the wing of the offense, now in motion. Kustok has time, and the pass overthrown, intercepted. David Terrell out of bounds at the Northwestern 42-yard line.
Intercepted for Michigan.
Well, that was a ball that Kustok threw right to David Terrell. Pretty good coverage the whole way. Kustok never looks off the coverage. Terrell looks back. Watch how Kustok never really looks off the coverage. Looking to his left the whole way, holding it, holding it, holding it. Terrell sees that in his zone defense, and then the contact frees Terrell up, and the receiver, Teddy Johnson, can't get there. Terrell just watches that in like a reception.
Drew Henson, it appears, going to go in at quarterback, and there's David Terrell. Well, how about that? What has he got? A touchdown today on offense, and he's got an interception on defense.
That doesn't happen every day in this conference.
I mentioned Drew Henson stepping under center now. Drake. Charles Drake, a true freshman out of Los Angeles, California, didn't get much off the flank of the offense there. Take a look at these quarterback comparisons. These are two fine quarterbacks. Brady, the senior, Henson, the sophomore.
And Henson had played in every game up until last week, and Lloyd Carr said finally before the game he wasn't going to promise anything. We're just going to see where the game takes us, and Brady played the whole game. You can't argue with his production.
Drew Henson on second down. Quick throw into the flat. Good coverage provided on the flank of the defense that time by Kevin Bentley. Aaron Shea, the receiver. Jim Barber's on the sidelines. Harold Blackman, Jim, was shaken up earlier. What was the verdict down there?
A contusion to the outside rib, the trainers and doctors told me, Wayne, but they applied a flak jack to him, and flak jacket, and he said, I'm okay to go, and so he's out there giving it a go right now.
Yeah, you know, that flak jacket puts about 10 pounds on you, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. He had to do a little bit of running back and forth with it, and at first it looked like he was in a lot of pain, and then he looked at the trainers and says, I'm going out there.
It looks like you had a few late-night meals. 3rd and 9. Out of the shotgun, Henson. Good protection, nice throw. Diallo Johnson coming back for it, apparently didn't hang on. He was juggling it as he hit the ground near the 30-yard line. Looked like a good throw right in there by Drew Henson.
Well, I think it was a good throw. That's where you need to throw that ball on that type of route, low to the outside. Your receiver's got to be able to go down and make that catch. Take a look and see if he did catch it, but maybe he was out of bounds. That left foot, the left knee, looks like he caught the ball from that angle, but wasn't in bounds. That may have been what the official saw.
You're right. I think you're right. Initially, I thought he might have been juggling it. Michigan will try to convert here. They lead 20-0, and they've got it 4th and 9 from the 41. Well, Henson can do that as well. He's one of the punters on this team. Tried to pooch it in there. The coverage is there, and it will be down inside the 20-yard line. David Terrell saved that play, kept the ball in play, and then it was down by the Wolverines inside the 5-yard line. And boy, I tell you, Drew Henson, a little pooch punt. These kids are versatile on this Michigan team, aren't they?
You got to be an athlete, and here Terrell comes down, knows it's the punt. He's just running full speed down there, does a nice job of staying out of the end zone and just knocking that ball back, knowing he's got other Wolverines coming down there that can down it, instead of him trying to do it and having the momentum carry him into the end zone.
Under 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Northwestern with its worst field position to start a drive at the Wildcat 3. Anderson, pretty hard to run offense when you're limited this deep in your to the 4-yard line. Ian Gold, the linebacker, filled along with Jake Preisinger, a defensive lineman.
Well, Wayne, this is really when you need some leadership, and you need that in your offensive line because they're the ones that need to take control. Unfortunately for Northwestern, their offensive line consists of 4 sophomores and a true freshman. They really don't have the experience or maybe the leadership yet.
Timeout was called by Michigan as they want to stop the clock and get another shot at it. Let's take a look at what's on tap and really play better overall, and it dips into special teams as well. They've made some changes with their kickers. You know, Epstein now doing all the kicking, so it has not been an easy season here at Michigan. 2nd and 9, although the Wolverines leading big here. Northwestern on the attack. And they give it to the horse, Damian Anderson. Out to the 5-yard line, gain of another yard, begrudging yard given up by the Michigan defense. Another timeout taken on the field is, yep, Michigan going to stop the clock. They want another shot at working some 2-minute offense, perhaps. Kevin Wilson and his offense been unable to really get things going. We thought they might go to the tight end a little bit more today, but I think, Randy, part of the problem has been that they've needed the tight end to stay in against this Michigan pass rush with maximum protection.
Exactly. They've had to keep him in because the protection has not been as good, and so it's a double whammy when your best receiver has to stay in and pass block. One of the reasons, Wayne, I think Michigan's calling timeout, they're ahead 20-0, but they really have not done a great job of holding some leads. They've given up 30 points in each of the last 3 games. So they feel they need to get as many points as they can when the opportunity arises.
Yeah, Jim Barber, leads have been hard to hold on to by Michigan, haven't they?
Yes, they have, guys. A sore subject around here. You remember when we were here for Champaign, Illinois, and the Illini with the visit to Michigan Stadium, the blown lead resulted in an Illinois win. Last week in Bloomington, that one almost got away from the Wolverines. And, of course, today, a strong effort so far. But Lloyd Carr told us yesterday, with the way we're playing right now, no lead is safe.
Yeah.
And because of the big plays that have been given up, guys, he's obviously quite worried that things could happen adversely against his team, even when they're up by a big margin.
Yeah, when they're up 17-0 or 20-0 as they are here today, usually a Michigan team will put the other side away. And there will be no issue, but that hasn't been the case this year because of big plays given up by the Michigan defense. 3rd and long, Kustok from the end zone. And this pass nearly intercepted. Cato June. The pass appeared to be off the mark and intended for Derek Thompson. I'm not sure if Thompson ran the wrong route or if that was just a misthrow by Kustok. Usually when a quarterback misses a throw that bad, it might have been something with the receiver, but 3 plays and out this season, 4 of 7 today for Northwestern, and that's one of the reasons why they're in the hole right now. Kevin Wilson, the offensive coordinator, has got his work cut out for him. J.J. Standring, D'Elo Johnson. Boy, Michigan's going to get great field position. There is a flag down. Pending the outcome of the flag, Johnson goes down at the hand of Kyle Sander near the 30-yard line. Penalty marker down.
Wayne, one of the reasons Michigan has blown leads is because they've been tired late in the game. With Northwestern having 4 possessions of 3 plays or less, their defense hadn't been on the field very much.
Well, back in 1996, you talk about comebacks. The Wildcats made one of the great all-time comebacks in the history of this rivalry. Down 16-0 offense from the 50 off the penalty, and the catch made by Marcus Knight at the 45-yard line. Penalty on that punt return. Otherwise, Michigan would have had excellent field position to begin this drive. Not bad to start at the midfield marker. Never bad to start there, but could have been a whole lot better. Now it's 2nd down and 5 off the 5-yard gain, and Brady working without a huddle out of the shotgun. 4 receivers set. Plenty of time. Johnson, great move to get by Napoleon Harris, and Shagu Cummings-John makes the stop at the 27-yard line. 18-yard gain for the Wolverines. What a move. I'll tell you what, he froze the defender on that play.
You don't hear a lot about D'Elo Johnson because they're so deep at wide receiver, but when he's the 4th best on your team and can make plays like that, you're going to have a pretty powerful attack.
Brady a little bit wide on that mark and intended for Marquise Walker on the play.
Not a bad play, though, by Brady. It's a quick hitch. If the receiver's not open, you throw the ball away. Even if it's incomplete, you come back at 2nd down. You've got excellent field position. You huddle yourself up. You give your team a chance to regain its composure and go at it again.
Under 2 minutes to go. Under 1.5 minutes to go in this first half. 2nd and 10 from the 27 of Northwestern. 3 receivers spread to the bottom of your screen, 1 to the top. It looked like a neutral zone violation. Little swing pass. Aaron Shea upended on an undercut move by Shagu Cummings-John, but I believe the Wildcats were in the neutral zone at the snap of the football. We'll see if Michigan wants the penalty or will take the yardage. It's a gain of about 8 yards.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them take this penalty. Even though they'll lose a few yards, they'll get the down over, and that may be more important to them.
Apparently they're going to take the penalty or they're asking to take the penalty or not.
offside defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
Yep, they're going to take the penalty.
I think that's a good call because even though you lose the 3 yards, you give your team a chance to huddle. Now you've got second down, and make no question, they want to get this ball into the end zone.
Each team with 4 penalties. Michigan had 3 on one drive earlier in this first half that completely stalled that drive.
Been big penalties, too. 38 yards, 44 yards, those are majors.
4 receivers set out of the shotgun on second down. Brady, Walker broken up nicely. Harold Blackman with a good play in the flat.
Harold Blackman again coming up as the ball arrives at the receiver and forcing the incompletion. Brady does a nice job getting it out there, and Walker just doesn't tuck that ball away quickly enough, and the ribs, the bruised ribs, don't seem to be bothering Blackman very much on that play.
The margin is 20 points. The yardage difference is even greater.
You look at that graphic right there, and you're surprised it's not greater than 20 points.
Indeed. Third down. Diallo Johnson uncovers. Nice spin move. Still on his feet. Inside the 5-yard line. Just a well-designed play. Good throw by Brady, and Diallo Johnson making some moves out on the flank of the offense and putting people away. Rashad Morton made the stop, and Lloyd Carr and company want a timeout. Final timeout for Michigan.
Well, nice job by Brady picking the top side of the screen where you see the receivers have more room. Johnson doing a nice job running with that ball after the catch. And we asked Lloyd Carr, Mike DeBoer, the offensive coordinator, why do you think the running game is not as effective? You don't seem to go to your tight ends as much this year. And he said, you know, every year we kind of sit down and we say, where's the strength of our offense? What do we want to focus? Is it the running game? Is it the tight ends? You know, they had Jeremy Tooman, who was a big player here for many years. Well, this year, the strength really is the wide receivers, and that's what they want to take advantage of. And so far, they've been doing it this entire season.
DeBoer, the coach, second from the right on your screen there. And right above that Michigan sign.
What a pleasure he is to talk to, isn't he? Just really friendly and knows and communicates and shares, and they've done a heck of a job, too, in the passing game here.
It's Fred Jackson next to him, right?
I believe it is.
Fred up there, or is he upstairs or he's downstairs? I think he's upstairs in their alignment of coaches. No, apparently no. That's not Fred. He's downstairs, right?
Fred is down on the field.
Yep. Michigan in the red zone. They do a lot of scoring down there. And look at those number of possessions in the red zone, Randy. A high figure. They get to the red zone a lot.
That's the one that really stands out. Not only the 88%, but the fact they've had 40 opportunities.
First and goal at the 1. Anthony Thomas. So Thomas, another touchdown. 1-yard plunge. Michigan now leading 26-0. Michigan used a couple of timeouts while their defense was on the field earlier, just a few minutes ago, and that gave their offense an opportunity to strike on a 50-yard drive. Hayden Epstein with the point after. And the Michigan lead is 27-0 as we near halftime.
We saw the 60-yard run where Thomas uses his speed to outrun the secondary. This time, excellent job by the offensive line firing off and just a straight ahead dive. And when you've got a back that is as diverse as Thomas is with his ability to break the big runs, yet strong enough to be able to break the tackles, you can do a lot of things with that.
Rushing TDs, he's got a couple here today, 34 in his career, and he has tied Rick Leach.
And keep in mind, he is only a junior, so he has a full season ahead of him and 2 games this year to pass Tyrone.
I bet you he will. If he stays healthy, God willing. He's a good back, Randy. You don't hear a lot about him, but man, I'll tell you what, if you want a guy who can carry the ball 30+ times a game and catch the ball, he's a good blocker. Pretty complete back.
He's what you call an everyday, every down back. He doesn't necessarily dazzle you with his quickness, but he shows up every play and he goes hard, whether he's a blocker, receiver, ball carrier, and that's the kind of back that you can build around. And when you look at their offensive line, they've only got one senior, Chris Zeman, that starts in that offensive line, so that looks to be able to come back pretty much intact. And I think when you've got a back like Thomas and a line like that, you stand to have a pretty good offense.
The winds have picked up here a little bit. They're gusting on the floor of the stadium, and Hayden Epstein is kicking into the wind from best we can tell.
I think if you're Northwestern, you decide what you want to do after this kickoff depending on the field position. Decent field position, maybe take some chances.
Line drive kick, and this one caroms out of bounds, and the penalty markers fly at the 5-yard line. Coming up, the National Car Rental halftime report with Mike Leeson. Minnesota, Penn State. Been a tight ball game today. Ohio State, Michigan State. Highlights and statistics on all the games coming up on the National Car Rental halftime report with Mike Leeson.
Here, Northwestern, because the kick went out of bounds, gets excellent field position at the 35-yard line. They've got all 3 of their timeouts. I think you got to try and at least make something happen. They haven't had much success at all. You've got really nothing to lose.
It's been tough for Zach Kustok in the first half of these games. This is only his 4th start. Kustok, little swing pass to his running back, Damian Anderson. Anderson taken on the flank as the penalty marker flies. Victor Hobson with a high tackle attempt, and I wonder if maybe he got his face mask.
I think that's what the call is going to be, and that will tack on some more yards to the Northwestern field position here. But Wayne, you brought up a very good point. When you see Zach Kustok, this is the first year of this coaching staff, so it's a new system for everybody. And Kustok, having transferred, really this is only his 4th game since 1996.
Incidental 5-yard face mask on the defense, 5-yard penalty, end of the run. Repeat, first down.
When you look at the fact that he's really been out of ball for 3 years, this is his 4th start. It takes a long time to get into a rhythm, especially when the rest of your team is learning a new system, which the entire team is with Randy Walker in his first year.
1st and 2. There's the slant. Good catch on the play by Derek Thompson, because he was hit immediately by Tommy Hendricks. A first down to the Michigan 49.
First down will stop the clock until the chains are set. Gives Northwestern a chance to gather and get their play calls.
As you said, though, they have 3 timeouts remaining. Kustok in the shotgun. Anderson, nice lead from Kustok. Angled out of bounds again by the linebacker, Victor Hobson. Victor Hobson, a redshirt freshman out of Mount Laurel, New Jersey.
I don't think you can be a real good receiver until you show you can catch the ball over the middle. Thompson goes up, stretches out, exposes those ribs, takes the hit, and holds on to the ball. What a nice play by Thompson. Really a guy that's emerged the last 2 weeks. Northwestern has had some injuries at that position, and Thompson has really stepped up big the last week and a half.
He indeed has. 2nd down and 6 coming up for Northwestern. Thompson had 7 receptions a week ago. Kustok looking around. A little bit too hot to handle that time for Damian Anderson. Anderson had Whitley coming up on him. James Whitley would have had a good leveling kind of shot that a DB just dreams of had Anderson hung on to the football.
I think they are reading Kustok wanting to go to the sideline, and when you've got 3 timeouts and only 20 seconds left, you don't need to use the sideline. You can use the middle of the field. That may be where the holes are opening up a little wider, and you've got plenty of time to be able to call the timeout because you've got 3 of them left.
And you've mentioned it a couple of times today, Randy. The Michigan defense is reading the quarterback.
And Zach is not looking off near as much as he should.
That's something he'll do, I'm sure, later. There's a little pump fake. Now Kustok takes it himself. Kustok brought down before getting out of bounds by James Whitley. He does have a first down to the 39, but Northwestern will have to stop the clock here with 13 seconds to go. The point being on Zach Kustok, he is a new quarterback, new to the program, and has not had a lot of action in the last few years, last couple of years actually. He's not very polished right now. This is something they'll work on with him in the offseason, and I bet you'll see a much improved quarterback next year here at Northwestern.
I think next year and the year after, if he can retain the starting position, that is something he'll get more comfortable with. Another reason a quarterback doesn't look off, new receivers. With some of the injuries, Northwestern's got new receivers in there.
To get inside the huddle of your favorite Big Ten team, go online at
One interception, could have had a couple more balls intercepted, but yet really hasn't had a lot of time to sit back there and read the coverage and let the plays develop.
Kustak onto the shotgun. Anderson alongside. Blitz coming. Cato June right up the gut. First sack of the day.
One of the problems with running out of the shotgun is your quarterback has to take his eyes off of the coverage to watch the ball coming into his hands. If he's under center, he sees it coming. Watching the ball come in from the center, he doesn't see Cato June coming right up there, and he came right up the middle.
You've seen Kustak have trouble holding the deep snap in the shotgun. He's had a couple of times. One time it hit him off the face mask, and he's able to regain, but that's Sermon, the defensive coordinator, is one of them. They roll out Kustak. And the pass wobbles a bit into a crowd and is broken up. David Terrell got a piece of it. And the first half comes to a close. Michigan with a comfortable 27-0 lead over Northwestern as the first half comes to a close. To the National Car Rental halftime report, and Mike Gleason. Wolverines will receive to start the second half. Let's take a look at the first half statistics. And you will see that the Michigan Wolverines moved the football pretty well in that first half. And take a look at the average per play, almost 8 yards per play.
8 yards per play to only 2.4. Now, Northwestern came in struggling in that category. Haven't helped it today. 310 total yards for that Michigan offense. Only 93 for Northwestern. It's hard to say which side of their ball is playing better.
Exactly. Well, Anthony Thomas, he's done almost a full game's work in one half as you get a look at 132 rushing yards from Anthony Thomas. Brady, pretty accurate, 11 of 21, a couple of touchdowns. And David Terrell, we've seen him in a number of roles, a variety of roles here. Walter Cross back deep to receive for the Wolverines as Tim Long gets set to kick it away.
Thomas has got to be getting pretty close to the 1,000-yard mark for this season.
Anthony Thomas needs just 21 yards for a 1,000-yard season. I would feel you might get that by the end of the third quarter, wouldn't you think, pal? Maybe on the next drive.
If things continue the way they've been.
Walter Cross from the 10. Cut down across the 35-yard line. Appeared to have a seam for a moment, and Conrad Emmerich made the stop. Jim Barber, you had a chance to talk to Coach Carr?
Yeah, you know what? The Illinois game's still fresh in the minds, Wayne, especially the missed extra point. I don't think Lloyd feels he'll lose this game, but he does feel the special teams needs a little bit more work and a little better effort. As for effort overall, the team, he thought it was terrific. And you know what he told me? He said, how about us doing it for 4 quarters for a change?
That would make the score pretty imposing, as if it isn't right now. Anthony Thomas. Same track he took to the end zone earlier. Rashad Morton forced him out this time. And it's first down in Northwestern territory. 26-yard gain, and there's your 1,000-yard season.
Play designed to go to the inside, but there isn't any room right there. And here he just uses his speed and his quickness to get to the outside. Some poor attack angles by the Northwestern players, and there's nobody outside.
There it is. 158 today, just over 1,000 for the season. Of the football now the 37-yard line, Northwestern territory. First down, Michigan. Thomas in motion to the wing. Aaron Shea, a rare carry and a big gain inside the 25-yard line. Kyle Sanders, the safety, made the tackle. First down at the 24 of Northwestern on a 13-yard gain.
Well, it is a rare carry, only his 5th carry of the season. Again, nothing in the middle. He goes to the outside. He doesn't outrun you. Boy, how do you think about Kyle Sanders standing right there facing that? You talk about Thomas being the A train. This guy is huge.
Well, Thomas is the train. This guy's the locomotive, right? I'll tell you.
Man.
And again, they run hard to the Michigan Wolverines inside the 20, down near the 15-yard line. Anthony Thomas getting a workout. Well, we thought he might get to the 1,000-yard plateau before this opening of the second half was over, but He did it on one carry. Morton and Sanders make the stop here. Gain of 9, or let's say 8 yards. 2nd down and 2 coming up.
That Northwestern defense starting the second half on the field after spending the majority of the first half out there. They're just getting pushed off the ball right now.
Terrell and Marcus Knight at the top of your screen. Thomas in motion. They give it to the fullback. Aaron Shea to the 10-yard line on a pickup of 5.
Wayne, this is the same play Aaron Shea ran 2 plays ago. Thomas in motion, stops. Last time Shea runs to the outside to the left. This time, though, the hole opens up to the right. Nice job blocking up front by Hutchinson, Brandt, and Zeman. And Shea picks up a nice gain.
Aaron Shea, former tight end, switched to the fullback spot last year. Michigan way up on that average. They're going to pull that up over 125 a game before they're done, maybe more.
I don't even know if Lloyd Carr could be unhappy with the way they run the ball today.
Very crisp opening to the second half for Michigan. Henson, or make that Brady to the end zone for the touchdown. Benny Jabru on the reception. 11-yard touchdown pass. And Michigan, you can't do it much better than what they just did. They take the football and march it all the way in. Blowing people off the ball. And the touchdown pass for Tom Brady, his 3rd of the game. Benny Jabru's 2nd touchdown reception of the season.
A lot of times, Wayne, when you play as well as the Wolverines did in the first half, you don't want halftime to come. You're worried about a break in the momentum. To start the second half the way they did, they answered that question.
Well, the Michigan Wolverines march 67 yards, and they camp it on this play. Tom Brady out of the pocket to the tight end. Lead. Kickoff. And Derek Thompson out across the 15, almost to the 20-yard line. Michigan. Unbelievable efficiency on their opening drive. Just 5 plays to move 67 yards. Took less than 2 minutes to get it done. And Brady capped it to Jabru from 11 yards out. This kid is starting to come along for this Michigan team. Benny Jabru, the tight end. You may hear more of him in coming seasons.
He's playing with a lot more confidence right now. So the better he plays, the more confident he gets, the better he's going to do. And therefore, he's going to get more playing time. So it's a good thing all the way around for the Wolverine offense.
Tamp in motion, long count, and the handoff goes to Damian Anderson. Nothing there, loss of a couple of yards. Jim Barber, you had a chance to talk to Randy Walker. What did he say?
Yes, guys, he wasn't thrilled. You expected that. The execution on both sides of the ball, very poor in his estimation. He said we got to start making a football game out of it and be competitive. And at that time, when it was 27-0, he told me, guys, hey, the game's not over. Unfortunately, since then, Michigan's added yet another touchdown.
Coach Walker does not look very happy there. Boy.
And he believes in his team, though, and he knows he's got a young team, and they focus more on themselves than any opponent. They want to get better. They want to play for 60 minutes. That's the most important thing he can tell his team right now.
Kustok makes the turn just across the 20-yard line. Jason Patak and Eric Wilson in pursuit, along with the linebacker. Dahani Jones, I believe, on that play. Wilson also there. Good pursuit by the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, but back to the point I was making, Wayne, with Randy Walker. He wants his team just to compete. He knows they're young. He knows they've got a long way to go athletically. But if he can get their attitude right, he can get the talent to match that attitude over time.
3rd and 9 now for Northwestern. Kustok goes the short route, and it's dropped in the flat by Damian Anderson. David Terrell, you see number 1 in the picture there, playing defense. Boy, here's what he did in the first half of play. We saw him on 3 different teams. This is offense. David Terrell freezes the coverage of Shagu Cummings-John with a beautiful move for the touchdown there. Then later on, playing defense. Watch him over the top on the coverage on this pass, errant throw, and the interception by David Terrell. And then on special teams, he keeps this one alive, and the Wolverines are able to down it inside the 5-yard line. Punt formation time for Northwestern. 3 plays and out for the offense there. And a good kick by J.J. Standring. D'Ello Johnson made the first man miss. And he's gunned down just short of the 40-yard line. We've got a break of the action. 46-yard punt, 5-yard return. Michigan coming back on offense. Back at Michigan, Wolverines leading big here this afternoon over the Northwestern Wildcats, and Michigan and company take over first down at their 40-yard line. Thomas to the outside. Gain of about 4. Let's go to Studio 66, Mike Gleason. Guys have their work cut out for them in that one. Second down for Michigan. Walter Cross in motion. Aaron Shea getting a few carries. The fullback in the Michigan scheme of things normally doesn't get very much in terms of calls from scrimmage. Maybe once in a while they throw a pass his way, but Aaron Shea getting a workout in this third quarter.
And generally with the games Michigan has played this year being very tight, it's really just been Thomas that has carried the load. They haven't even gotten Walter Cross and B.J. Askew and Charles Drake many opportunities. They've wanted Thomas in there when it's crunch time. With this kind of lead, should give Michigan a chance to get some of those other running backs an opportunity to carry the ball.
3rd and 4. Brady throws it away. His man was well covered down the sidelines, D'Elo Johnson. And it is a 4th down for the Michigan Wolverines.
One of the few pass plays today, Wayne, where Brady's had plenty of time to throw, and it's been good coverage in the secondary. There really wasn't anybody open, and Brady just threw the ball out of bounds.
So Brady and company in a rare 1-2-3 and out.
Very rare, and Northwestern's defense did a nice job of stepping up and stopping the run, and they're not going to quit on you. We've seen that as we've watched them, and they're not going to give up and quit no matter what the score is.
The ball may have been partially deflected. It came out low and does get a Michigan roll inside the 10-yard line where the Wolverines down it at the 8. 46-yard punt is what it turns out to be. Take a look at the big play picture for Michigan in terms of big plays against their defense. 11 against by Purdue. Of course, that's a big play offense. Then Michigan State had a big day on them. Illinois, 7 big plays, a couple in the second half that cost them the game, but much better Indiana and now Northwestern. Kustak, and out of bounds is Derek Thompson across the 15-yard line, just short of the first down gain of about 9 yards to Thompson. The point being with that graphic you saw just a moment ago is that, you know, Indiana has a quarterback who can make big plays, but this Northwestern team here is not a team that's going to beat you with the big play.
No, but they've given up big plays, and some of that's because of their schedule. Take a look at the hit Kustak takes in here. Dahani Jones, 55, coming right in there. Good, clean hit. Just putting the pressure onto him.
We may see Nick Kreinbrink before long. Damian Anderson on the carry, not getting a whole lot. Michigan has rallied well against the run. And Anderson came in, Randy, 3rd in the Big Ten in rushing average, almost 110 yards rushing per game. And again, you're talking about a team that doesn't offer a lot of versatility. They give them the first down there. They have a very young offensive line and a passing game that is not going to divert much attention from the ground game. So his accomplishment certainly is you know, a lauded one indeed. Almost 1,000 yards rushing for the season.
He's one of the best backs in the Big Ten that nobody's heard of. And if you put him on another team with a better offensive line, a more experienced one, a better passing attack, he'd be having an outstanding year for anybody.
First down for Northwestern. Kustak rolling out. Shakes by one defender. He's pretty good on his feet, though, isn't he, when he takes and tucks that ball?
You know, he's pretty good, and he just looks a lot more confident. When he runs, he's not looking for a place to go down. He's looking for a place to run. He's not afraid to take the hit. He's taken a lot of them in the secondary, but he just feels, or looks like he feels more comfortable when he's running the ball than throwing it.
Sean Lazarus made the stop, gain of 9 for Kustak. 2nd and 1 coming up near the 28-yard line of Northwestern.
You know, we haven't seen Northwestern run the option very much today, and it's a nice little change of pace that Kustak does very well against a 3-4 defense. 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers. That play doesn't work as well, and that's hurt Northwestern offensively.
Kustak's rushed the ball 9 times today. Anderson had an opening, could see it, but got pulled back from behind. Somebody got him with a meat cleaver and pulled him down. Dahani Jones made the stop on the play. Second leading tackler for the Wolverines. Take a look at that mid-70s look. He has been a great player here at Michigan.
Maybe he was playing back in the 70s. He's been here for so long.
Mom and dad were both U of M grads, and he wants to be a pediatric plastic neurosurgeon. To Honey Jones. Third down. Loss of one on that play. Michigan showing blitz. And to the outside, Anderson. Can he get away? I don't think so. James Whitley pulled him down short of the first down, or so it appears.
You know, I don't know if I want anybody, having played football myself, I don't know if I want anybody that I was on the field with any kind of relation being a plastic surgeon, neurosurgeon.
Well, I tell you what, these two schools, great academic institutions, you'll get a lot of big-time people coming out of these schools and these football programs. The accomplishments in the classroom are wonderful on both sides. It's a first down. I didn't think they got it, but on the spot of the ball, it is a first down for Northwestern. Good effort there.
You know, Wayne, along with that, the athletes that go to Northwestern and Michigan, they know they're going to be expected to excel in the classroom, and they accept that. It's not as though they plan on going to extend their football career first. It's nice if it happens, but they know what's expected of them academically, and they follow through.
They do. They are required to follow through. It's a big part of the program. First down. Kustok scrambling. Why not? This has been his best play. To the 45. Kustok to the 50. Gets by Whitley and then is buried at the 43-yard line. Todd Howard, the quarterback, came over to make the stop. 28-yard gain by Zach Kustok. And when he's tucked the football and taken off, Randy, that's been their most effective play.
And one of the reasons he's been forced to run so much is Northwestern only has two guys out in the pass pattern. Their protection has not been good. They're keeping the tight end and both backs. Only the two wide receivers downfield. And you've got five guys covered, and you're not going to be open. But he is an exciting runner. Does a nice job of switching arms with that ball. It's just like a running back. Wisely, though, he gets down when he sees the pocket, when he sees whatever it is getting ready to cave in.
First down, football to the 43-yard line of Michigan. Tant in motion, and looked like Patrick Kratis came off sides.
You see Jay Tant in motion there, the ball being snapped right at the linebacker, or excuse me, I'll let the referee make the call.
By the defense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
See Jay Tant in motion. You take a look at the penalty here. Michigan jumping off sides and making contact. Jay Tant, the ball is snapped when he's in the fullback position because he is maybe their best blocker. They don't have a good fullback that can block, so you bring the tight end in motion, use him as a fullback, a lead blocker, helps your running game.
1st and 5 at the 38. Tant again in motion. This time it looked like Perry on the offensive line reacted as well as the Michigan defender charged toward the neutral zone. And this might be a false start.
I never liked going on a long count after the defense had just jumped off sides.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty. The down remains first.
Right after the defense jumps off sides, they're going to be very sensitive to it. So by going on a long count, you're only going to draw your offensive lineman off, and that's what happened right there. You don't often see defenses jump off sides twice in a row.
1st and 10. Big hole, Damian Anderson. Inside the 20, penalty marker down. James Whitley made the tackle, but I think he got the face mask as well. 24-yard gain. Good job up front. They blew some people out of there.
Well, that is a big play, and the secondary has given up many of them this year. That wasn't the fault of the secondary. That was a huge hole. Anderson got to it quickly, and the secondary saved that from being a touchdown.
Face mask, the indication. A penalty they'll tack on to the end of the run.
Run, incidental, 5-yard face mask penalty, defense. 5 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Take a look at that offensive line coming off the ball. Austin King at center doing a nice job along with Mark Perry and Wayne Lucier. And Anderson hit that with a lot of confidence. Hit it quickly, knowing the hole was going to be there. And he hadn't had many holes that size to run through today.
I'd like to welcome back our viewers in Chicago on WBBM television. Pass along our condolences to the family and friends of Walter Payton. They were covering the Walter Payton service at Soldier Field this afternoon. Welcome back. Little option pass. How about an option run? Davian Anderson, well, they ask him to do a lot, don't they? He picks up yardage down to the 12, gain of a couple of yards. It is 34-0 Michigan over Northwestern here. And we have just over 6 minutes to go in this third quarter. Elsewhere in college football, take a look at the update. Penn State, Minnesota hanging in there with Penn State. Michigan State controlling Ohio State at the moment. Iowa, Illinois, early in that one.
Big game for Illinois there. Possible bowl implications
Indeed.
for them. They need to win that game.
They will wind up the season with these Northwestern Wildcats in Champaign on the 20th of November. 2nd and 8. Play action. Kustok in trouble. Back outside the 20-yard line. It was raining Wolverines, and Josh Williams finally got there. We're at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. Along with Jim Barber and Randy Wright, I'm Wayne Larrabee, and it's great to have you with us on a beautiful sun-splashed November afternoon. Crisp and cool. Temperature in the 50s. A light breeze blowing through the stadium.
Just perfect football weather.
It indeed is. 3rd and long coming up. 2 sacks now by the Michigan defense. 3rd and 18 here for Northwestern. 10th play of the drive. Kustok looking around. Ridden down by Wilson from behind. Eric Wilson makes the stop of the 20, gain of a couple of yards, and it is 4th down for Northwestern.
Well, Eric Wilson has been in the Northwestern backfield more than Ian Miller has as the fullback. There's just not the protection to give Kustok the time. As Kustok gets a little more experience, he'll have to learn you've got to throw that ball away. You can't always make something happen trying to run around, get rid of it, throw it away. Keep your team in good field position. Helps your field goal kicker make an easier field goal attempt.
Tim Long, about a 37-yard field goal attempt. Slight angle to the left, just to put some points on the board for Northwestern. And he's got it on the money. It is good. 4:06 to go in the third. Michigan 34, Northwestern 3. A field goal, and the Wildcats on the board, trailing 34-3 here at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. There's a look at it. 11 plays to go 72 yards. Took 6 minutes and 22 seconds off that clock.
It's a nice drive, though, and that's what Randy Walker wants to salvage out of this second half. Only 4 minutes left in the third quarter, but put something together offensively, whether it be some runs, some passes. Stay in the realm of what your offense is. Forget about the score.
Walter Cross back deep to receive, and the ball falls off the tee. So Tim Long reloads it. And here's the kick into the wind. Walter Cross from the 10. It's the seam. Cut down across the 35-yard line, just short of the 40, where Michigan will put it in play. To Studio 66 for Mike Gleason.
Wayne, just like your game in state college.
Isn't it? That Minnesota team, we're going to see them next week, Randy. I'm anxious to see what they've got.
And they must be for real. They have been solid all season. If you're a fluke, it doesn't last that long.
Drew Henson on a quarterback. Him turned around as running back Walter Cross, who got plastered by Napoleon Harris. Jim Barber, what do you have?
Very honored guest, Dr. Frank Jobe, the Dr. Frank Jobe, as we discovered here, orthopedic surgeon, world famous for a number of things, not the least of which was the great rotator cuff surgery many years ago on Tommy John. What brings you to the University of Michigan?
Well, we're having a shoulder conference here. It's put on by the University of Michigan. Dr. O'Connor, Dr. Connor, and Dr. Kuhn are the doctors that are putting it on. We've had about 250 attendees. So we've had a really good time.
In relation to college football and shoulder injuries, what can you tell us?
Well, they occur, but I think we're learning more about how to fix them now, and that's why we had the conference. We don't know all there is to know yet, or we wouldn't have so many failures, but I think we are learning more. I think the shoulder is a little bit where the knee was about 20 years ago, and now we know more how to fix the knee, and we're learning how to do the shoulder now.
Surprised at all the way we have advanced medically over the years in terms of sports?
I really am. Because when I started in 1964, there were very few players in the major leagues or in football who had an operation. And now I think it's a high percentage. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's very high.
Before we let you go, Doctor, one of our announcers wants some free medical advice. I believe he, and starring as a quarterback many years ago, Randy had a PCL and an MCL on his knee. Can you give him any kind of advice at this point?
Well, if he's gotten by this far, well, he's doing pretty well. Did he have an operation?
15 years ago.
Well, he's doing all right then, so I think I'd just stay with it.
It took away some of his team speed, but I don't think he ever had any.
Well, thank you for having me on the air. I appreciate it very much.
Doctor, it's a pleasure.
We've enjoyed it.
Dr. Frank Jobe, our guest on the sidelines, guys.
Jim, now that I know what he can do with my knee, ask him what he can do with my arm, but remind him I didn't have anything wrong with my arm.
Hey, your free medical advice time is gone, pal. I'm sorry.
Dr. Jobe has left the building. Excellent punt by Hayden Epstein, and Northwestern backed up inside its 10-yard line. Louis Ianni, the true freshman running back, gets the call for a couple of yards out near the 10-yard line. We are winding down this third quarter. Under 3 minutes to go, third quarter. Michigan in command, 34-3. They led 27-0 at halftime.
See Louis Ianni right there, true freshman, as you just said, Wayne, a back that Randy Walker really likes. Hasn't had a chance to play him as much this year, only 20 carries coming into the game, but they think that he will develop and will be able to combine with Damian Anderson and give this team a good running attack in the years to come.
Kid just made a good block to spring Kustok around the end. Penalty marker down. This is about the third time James Whitley will get hit for a face mask penalty. Made a high tackle attempt out near the 16-yard line.
You have a lot of face masks, as you see Lloyd Carr right there, kind of getting fed up with the fact, as you said, that Whitley is now going to be flagged for another one. When you arm tackle, you have a lot of face masks. Clearly, this should be a 15-yarder. I think they gave it a 5-yarder, but I think that one could have been a 15-yarder. He grabbed it and turned the head, and generally that's the criteria for 15-yarders. When we hold on and you turn the head. But if you hit with your shoulders and your body, you don't have face mask. When you arm tackle is where they come.
It is a first down at the 21-yard line for Northwestern. Out of the shotgun, Michigan shifts on the line, and they hold up the play right away. Wonder if that Michigan shift may have forced some premature movement by the offense.
Well, this is something that neither coach wants to see, is a game that gets a little sloppy regardless of the score because of lack of concentration.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, 5 yards. Down remains 1.
First and 15, however. Randy Walker looking on. And one of those days, and the penalties beginning to mount.
Big yardage penalties, a couple interference, and several face mask penalties against the Wolverines. One thing Randy Walker has said to us is the thing he needs his team to improve more than anything is their strength. When he came to Northwestern, only 8 players could bench press 400 pounds. That's a very low number for a Big Ten team. That's the one thing, unfortunately, takes time in order to improve.
Ianni gets the call. And the point he made to us, well, we'll get to it in a moment. Let's go to Mike Gleason, Studio 66. Mike?
Wayne, Mid-American Conference, the Toledo...
Where Michigan is winning big here. The thing that Coach Walker mentioned, he had, what, 7 players who could bench press the 400 pounds at Northwestern. He had 20 at Miami of Ohio who could do it.
And unfortunately, that is what takes the longest to improve. You've got to have time in order to improve your strength.
Well, that was a good, tough run. He delivered a blow. Did the running back, Louis Ianni, there. Anthony Jordan steered him out of bounds, but Ianni made the hit. He carried the action. Let's listen.
know, you hear that contact, and it's for real down there, but yet Ianni didn't go down. He split him and kept running. Only 5'11", 185 pounds. Randy Walker knows he's got one in the coming there.
That's 7 carries, 27 yards last week against Wisconsin. Third down. Kustok. Pass batted down, incomplete. Josh Williams got it from the far side. It is 4th down, Northwestern.
Well, Michigan's defense, regardless of the score, coming after Kustok. He looks to the left the entire way, trying to run the wide receiver screen. And Williams, once he gets by, his blocker there has no problem getting his hands up. As he gets around, Lance Clellan has no problem getting his hands up and knocking that ball down.
J.J. Standrings had a busy day. Diallo Johnson from the 24. Kyle Sanders done a pretty good job of covering kicks here today. He was first to the ball. 54-yard punt, 9-yard return. An exceptional day of college football offered today from ESPN Game Plan. Some great matchups run throughout the day. Call DirecTV, Dish Network, or your local cable operator. You'll be able to see all these games no matter where you live on ESPN's Game Plan.
Well, there are a couple of good matchups today, both here and not too far away with that Michigan State-Ohio State game.
Indeed. Spartans, at last we heard, were leading by, what, about 10, 17-7, if I'm not mistaken.
Which Spartan team shows up? That's always the question, isn't it?
I'm sure that coach is asking that as well. Not much there. Nick Saban has had a team that he thought he had figured out when we left him a few weeks ago, and they went in and handled Michigan at home, and then 2 tough losses, one at Purdue and one at Wisconsin. And that left that program, the coaches shaking their heads, questioning, wondering what happened, because they lost both games decisively after starting the season 6-0, getting what, to a top 5 ranking or thereabouts.
5th in the country.
2nd and 10. Henson. Well, why not? I mean, when there's that much running room. Henson fumbled. Up for grabs. Michigan recovers. I believe it was Steve Frazier who got back on the football.
Well, Henson, as he was running towards the sideline, I think he saw the players to the left of him, but it was the Northwestern player to the right that I think surprised him. He's looking downfield, and all of a sudden, the guy comes off the block and makes the hit. And I don't think Henson ever saw him and was surprised. All of a sudden, he was right in his face.
Make that Maurice Williams, the man who got back to recover the ball. We've got a break of the action. Michigan will resume when we resume the ball game in the 4th quarter. Wolverines up big.
Michigan 34, Northwestern 3.
It's big 2nd quarter when they really got things rolling. Put a significant amount of distance between them and their opponents from Evanston, and now Michigan resumes offensively. 3rd and long. Snap to Drew Henson. Henson rooted out and driven down. Javier Collins on the sack. Loss of about 6, first sack of the day for Northwestern. And take a look at the numbers. And what is somewhat surprising, based on all the yardage by Michigan and all the points scored by Michigan, is the time of possession. And that is heavily in favor of Northwestern, but that gives you an indication that Michigan hit some big plays here today.
Gives you an indication how useless that stat sometimes is, too.
I think Michigan's going to continue to keep the football offensively. They're running into the kicker penalty. Fumble here by Derek Thompson, the return man. And it is Michigan football. So they might want to turn down the penalty. They're going to get it out near the 48-yard line. Sean Lazarus makes the recovery.
Derek Thompson trying to fight for extra yardage, had broken through a couple of tackles, was spun around, and the ball came out as he took a tremendous hit in the back.
And they turned down the penalty. Watch this. This is what they called roughing the kicker early in the play, or running into the kicker. Now, probably rough.
Evan Coleman, number 39 in there. You could hear that hit, and listening to it and seeing it a second time, no wonder it came out.
1st down at the 48. Not much there for B.J. Askew, a true freshman out of Cincinnati, Ohio. If you've just joined us, Anthony Thomas, another big day running the football for Michigan today. A couple of touchdowns for him. He has 14 on the season. We're going to see just about everybody on that Michigan sideline, I would think, at one point or another in this game. A game like this, and we're in the opening minute of the fourth quarter with Michigan in command 34-3. Randy, what does this do for the confidence of your football team? Does it have much of an effect? Obviously, you played an inferior opponent here today.
Well, I think they've played an inferior opponent, but they put together a game for 46, 47 minutes, the entire game up to this point, where they played very solid on both sides of the ball. If that's something that Michigan hasn't done yet this year. Even in some of their earlier games, when they were winning, they weren't playing solid for 60 minutes. And if you think about it too, the games that they've had that have been very tight, Illinois, Indiana, the last couple weeks, maybe those were inferior opponents also that they just didn't play as well against.
Yeah, could be. Only time will tell. Well, you'll know everything about Michigan after the next two games. At Penn State and at home against Ohio State. You'll find out all you need to know about this Wolverine team. Henson. Askew inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. B.J. Askew, excellent speed. 4.3, 4.40 is what they say. Rushed for better than 2,000 yards, scored 22 touchdowns in his high school career.
Now, of the young backs on this team, Askew is the one that I think has the best chance to really step up. He's an inside-outside runner, a big, strong kid, 6'3", over 200 pounds. And as you said, some of the credentials he comes in here with, he's one I think they expect big things to happen.
Just more power than some of their other younger backs. Askew now is trying to escape to the outside. He'll deliver a blow when he makes the turn. Back to Mike Gleason, Minnesota, Penn State doing war up in Happy Valley, Mike.
Fight with Minnesota. They also play Michigan and Michigan State. If those two teams end up each with a conference loss, Penn State would go to the Rose Bowl because they have a better overall record.
First down for Michigan near the 14. Henson, pass knocked down, nearly caught by Drew Henson on the play. Dwayne Missouri got up high, knocked it away, almost knocked it right back to the quarterback.
Dwayne Missouri came in with 16 tackles for losses, 5 sacks, and he's really been very quiet today. You have not heard much at all from the front four for Northwestern. Nice job by Missouri getting his hands up, and I don't know why Drew would even try and catch that. Then you got to run over Missouri.
It's just a natural reaction. The ball's coming at you, you try to catch it.
It does help your completion percentage.
It sure does. There is that. Walter Cross made the first man to the backfield miss, and he's ushered out of bounds. Harris missed the play at the point of attack, a loss of 1 anyway. Good coverage by Northwestern. Back to the studio, Mike Gleason. They got beat by Penn State on one of those almost a Hail Mary type pass in the Orange Bowl. Third down, penalty marker is down early on this play. Henson, nice throw to the corner, sails out of bounds, intended for Marcus Knight. Penalty marker down to the far side.
I think Michigan's going to get another shot here, or Northwestern, I believe, jumped offside, should give Michigan the down again.
Offside defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
Let's say that Penn State comes back today and eventually runs the table. Let's say that Wisconsin runs the table. Now, Wisconsin, Penn State would go to the championship game, you would figure, if they remain,
provided they remain 1 or 2.
1 or 2 in the BCS standings. And now you've got a decision for the Rose Bowl. Do they naturally take Wisconsin?
Well,
they don't have
to. I think a couple of things. Number one, if Wisconsin wins out, they're probably going to be 6th, 7th, 8th in the BCS standings. Probably have the Heisman Trophy winner on their team. I think they bring a ton of fans. They'd be a natural choice for the Rose Bowl, even though they just went there last year. But I don't think that they have to take the Big Ten runner-up, and the Rose Bowl would then have a choice to make.
Be interesting to see.
Some of that becomes who else would be available.
Now, how about on the other side, the Pac-10? You've got some teams there that may not qualify due to 3 losses.
Well, that's where a team like Illinois may really benefit. If they go 6-5 and are bowl eligible, but maybe the 7th or 8th team in the Big Ten that's bowl eligible, they don't have another Big Ten bowl to go to. they can fill it in for one of the other teams that didn't qualify.
Pass intended for Marcus Knight. Beautiful play by Harold Blackman to break it up. Northwestern will take over on downs in a Michigan blowout. Back at Michigan Stadium, Wolverines on top big. Northwestern takes over with a 1st and 10 at its 10-yard line. Jay Tant, the tight end, in motion. Kustak's gone all the way quarterback. And he was looking for the wide receiver, Aaron Burrell, who slipped and fell on the far side. Northwestern struggling here today. Randy Walker in his first season as the head coach. And I got a feeling they're going to build it. Got a very young team on the field here today. They've got a lot of promise, but I think Coach Walker is going to bring some toughness to this program, and he'll bring his kind of player to the program, and it will be a competitive team year in, year out when he gets his people in there.
And Wayne, there's no question he knows what he wants, and he will go out and find it. He knows what he got into at Northwestern. They have a very, very young offensive line, 7 sophomores, 2 freshmen in there. They have, of their top 44 players, they've only got 1 senior that starts for them.
Louis Ianni, a freshman, decked in the backfield. No blocking in front of him. We're at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. Better than 110,000 on hand. Along with Randy Wright and Jim Barber, I'm Wayne Larrabee. It's great to have you with us here today. It has been pretty much all Michigan here today, and the Wolverines wanted to get their ground game on track, and that's exactly what they did. They put the A train on the tracks and sent them downhill for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 60-yard touchdown gallop. And look at the difference in the offensive numbers. A lot of big plays for Michigan today. 3rd and about 12 on this one for Northwestern. Kustak from the goal line. Pass tipped up into the air. Incomplete. David Petruzzello made the play. Another batted pass. About the 4th one today by the Michigan defense. Little over 9 minutes left to go in this 4th quarter. And again, as we mentioned, a lot of the backups from both teams will get an opportunity to play in this 4th quarter. Michigan, so it would appear, would get good field position here. Bellamy is back deep to receive this end-over-end punt. And it's a tail dragger picked up by Bellamy at the sidelines, and down he goes. Good undercut move made on the tackle by Louis Ianni, the running back. Break in the action. Michigan takes over when we return. Now that youngster, there's a young Michigan fan. Someday he may be wearing the maize and blue out here at Michigan Stadium. Well, he is now. To an extent. First down from the 45. Walter Cross, nice run out near the midfield marker. Jim Barber, it's story time. Tell us one.
It is indeed prehistoric times, if you will. You were talking, guys, about how tough Randy Walker is. Well, it's kind of the caveman mentality. He says you have to come out of the cave with a club and go after him, and that's what they tried to do today. Obviously, it was a bigger tiger that they tried to knock down and slay, but Walker really has that toughness, and he feels that toughness eventually carries over to his players and his program, and I believe, like you guys, he'll get it done.
You bet. They just ran into a T-Rex. They came out of the cave and they saw a full-grown T-Rex. And I don't care how big the club is you're swinging, you're not going to slay that one.
Right now, guys, he's got a smaller club.
Yeah.
He needs to get a bigger club.
Yeah, he'll get a bigger club. Just over 8 minutes left to go in this one. And Michigan gets it 3rd down coming up. Well, the Wolverines, like we said, they've got some big fish to fry, including one up at Happy Valley next week, and then they come back home for the traditional rivalry against Ohio State. Third down. Henson. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. Tyrese Butler, the intended receiver, believe the coverage got there a little bit too early. Harold Blackman was in on it. Near the 35-yard line, of the flags all over.
Blackman did a nice job earlier today, a couple of different times, timing up the contact right as the ball got there. This time, I think it was a little early. Good call by the officials throwing the flag.
Pass interference, defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
Michigan State continues to lead in its game. Penn State jumped back on top. Illinois in front of Iowa. As Randy mentioned, a big game for Illinois. They need to get to that 6-win plateau to be bowl eligible.
What a job Ron Turner has done down there. He has not had a lot to work with when he took over that program, and in just his 3rd year down there has got them possibly looking at a bowl.
First down off the penalty at the 37 of Northwestern. Looked like Cross slipped just a bit as he made his move toward the middle and then cut to the right, covered up. We mentioned these Wildcats. They've had better days than this even this year, but they're a young team. These guys are going to be back, and they're gaining some experience right now. Growing pains are painful, Randy.
Well, when you look at only one starter, Jay Tan, a tight end, that it really has not been very involved in their offense. It's the only starter out of 22 and only 6 out of their 2 deep. It also goes to why their team's not very strong, because these players are very young and it takes a while to develop. Randy Walker will get them where he wants them to be, and they'll have the benefit of the experience.
Henson, and a sensational catch attempt, but he did not rein it in. Ronald Bellamy. Almost a beautiful fingertip catch down near the 5. Drew Henson says, boy, I put some air under that. Let's take a look at it.
Just not enough. You see your receiver this wide open, and you just got to get the ball to him, and Henson put some air under it, and what an effort there by Bellamy. And I thought he had it all the way in. Clearly it came out, but he laid out for that ball, and almost an outstanding catch.
Bellamy, the true freshman out of New Orleans, Louisiana. There will be a day when he makes that catch. Look at that. What an effort. 3rd down. Henson 3 of 11, 19 yards passing. And needs a timeout, running out of time on the play clock. 6:51 left to go in this one. Michigan rolling to victory in Ann Arbor.
Combs, what do you think?
3rd and 10. Henson waited a long time to make that throw, and it's tipped up into the air and nearly caught downfield. Incomplete is the call. Nearly caught by Tyrese Butler. That ball was knocked up into the air, and 15 yards downfield. Butler almost gathered it in. Take a look at this.
Nice job by Henson, standing in the pocket, had a long time, really puts a lot on this ball without being able to step into it. Pretty much threw that thing flat-footed, and almost another wonderful catch that time by a Michigan receiver.
Take a look at it again. He puts that ball right where it needs to be. Kevin Bryant, the intended receiver, and then Butler almost made the play on it downfield.
Butler really should have caught that ball. I mean, it went through his hands. Wasn't as though he couldn't get to it.
4th down. Henson under pressure. Pass wobbles and nearly intercepted. It's incomplete. Almost taken away by Rashad Morton. Break in the action. We're coming back to Michigan after these messages. Of the afternoon, a little bit wide of the mark, intended for the senior, 5th-year senior Aaron Burrell out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Reinbrink came in last week in the Wisconsin game and did a nice job. He hadn't had a lot of success with, especially in terms of completion percentage over the year. Had a nice stint last week, put some points on the board, got his touchdowns higher than his interceptions, and another sophomore.
Well, this is a kid who has a strong arm, Randy. He walked on as a baseball player in the Wildcat baseball program. He's a pitcher.
Much bigger kid, 6'3", over 230 pounds.
And, he had his man wide open. Jay Tant will never be more open than that. Down the right sidelines of the pass overthrown. Got a final. Michigan State has knocked off Ohio State. Big win to get Michigan State back on track there. Penn State, as we've mentioned, is nosed ahead of Minnesota. Ball game going down the stretch, much like it did about, 2-3 years ago when we were out there.
2 years ago when we were out there, Minnesota had that game in their hand and gave it literally with turnovers back to Penn State. Minnesota, a lot more offensive weapons this year. Minute 41 left to get back in that game.
Fine brink. Ianni cutting it back against the grain. Out near the 44-yard line. Sure tackle made by the linebacker Anthony Jordan.
With Penn State playing host to Michigan next week, could be Penn State's looking ahead a little bit to that game, but Minnesota's far too good a team to look ahead.
Indeed they are.
What do you think with that game next week? Wolves and the Nittany Lions.
It depends on how much momentum Michigan takes out of this one, because it certainly looks like they did correct some problems they've been having. And now a timeout called on the field But a game like this, it's hard to judge, Randy, how much benefit you get out of it as a winner. A comfortable game like this. Now, did you correct some things? Did you see some things out there that maybe got a little bit better? Certainly they ran the football better. Their big play in the passing game continues. They didn't give up many big plays here today, but that's, again, more Northwestern.
Exactly. That's one of the things they could not really correct today, because Northwestern doesn't have the speed at some of their skilled positions to make the big plays, and that's really what Penn State has specialized in this year.
But nonetheless, Michigan needed a game like this. They've been in so many close games over the course of this season. They needed a game where they could just relax, get up big, and then, you know, get some momentum.
And finish.
Yeah, and finish it, and which they've done. I mean, they basically called off the dogs here in the second half, but nonetheless, that opening drive of the second half is what Coach Carr wanted. Not much running room there. Dodge player of the game, David Terrell. There's a look at his work. 5 catches, 71 yards, a touchdown. He had a pass breakup on defense. He had an interception, and he also kept the ball in play on punt coverage and allowed his teammates to down it inside the 5-yard line.
All around excellent effort by a sophomore that's got a big career future ahead of him, and heck, he's had a big year already this year. He's really been, I don't want to say a surprise, because they expected him to be the caliber of player that he is, but they've been pleased that he's lived up to those expectations.
Third quarterback for Michigan today, Jason Kapsner out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Oh, there's that good-looking running back, B.J. Askew from Cincinnati. We'd like to take this time to thank our Big Ten corporate sponsors. Illinova, the official energy sponsor of today's Big Ten football game. Illinova provides energy plus solutions for business. Stadium, Wolverines trying to salt this one away with 5:13 to go. And once again, the freshman gets the call. B.J. Askew had 14 carries, 36 yards, a 2.6-yard average coming into the ball game today with 1 touchdown. He'll add to those totals today. Kapsner, take a look at his statistics and vitals.
6'6", 222 pounds. I tell you, they have had a string of big quarterbacks at this school. In fact, Drew Henson may be the smallest they've had here in a while.
Exactly. I was just going to say that, because Brady's 6'5", Henson is 6'4". This kid's 6'6". 3rd and short. Look out. Boy, I tell you, he storms through that hole, doesn't he? You know, it's interesting in watching Anthony Thomas run so brilliantly here today, Randy. He's a guy who has great speed when he gets to the open field, but is not a guy, he has more power at the point of attack and not as much quickness as some backs, so that you would call him explosive. But when he needs to get around the end and he gets a step on somebody, he's hard to catch. He's got speed, but maybe he doesn't get it going as quick as a lot of backs do.
Help getting to the open field, and he doesn't necessarily get there because of his own quickness.
And that's not a criticism. That's just his style. That's what he's all about. But you know, you could take a look at this. This is the 60-yard touchdown run. You see it from field level coming right at you. Now watch him get to the sidelines and go right down the track. He shakes that first tackle attempt in the backfield, and then here, nobody can catch him.
I agree with you, though. I think it takes him a step or two longer to get to that point.
And he's the Outback Steakhouse outstanding back to the game. Another wonderful performance by Anthony Thomas. He had almost 200 yards last week. He had 102 yards against Illinois a couple of weeks ago here, and only played just into the 3rd quarter. Nice catch by B.J. Askew. Juggled it for a moment and then is taken down on the far side. Pat Durr, a freshman linebacker for Northwestern, cutting his teeth in this one, late going. 3:17 left to go. Take a look at where Anthony Thomas ran the football. Going to his left, which is where that touchdown came. Man,
even if you took that 60 yards away, still pretty even where he runs the ball to all 3 sides. And sometimes it's designed to go to one side or another, but yet he's got good enough vision to be able to turn it in to another area.
Kapsner, incomplete, penalty marker thrown. Tyrese Butler, the intended receiver, may have been interfered with or held.
Well, Northwestern, as Michigan does, has some of their backups back there. And when you don't quite have the speed to keep up with some of these receivers, you start relying on other things to help you out, like grabbing and holding.
Well, Michigan has, as you've mentioned before, a tremendous depth at the skill spots on this football team, from quarterback to running back to wide receiver. A lot of depth on this team.
Pass interference, defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, first down.
Wayne, I can't remember a team in the Big Ten that has as much talent and as depth at the wide receiver position. Take a look. We'll see the penalty right there, just the tail end of it. I haven't seen a team. Obviously, you've had your Joey Galloways and your David Bostons with some teams, and they may have, as an individual, been better, but I haven't seen a team this deep at that position in quite a while. Even Purdue, with all the receivers they run in and out. Different types of receivers, more possession-type receivers as a whole than the pure game breakers that Michigan seems to have.
B.J. Askew getting another carry, as there he is.
They smile. One of the only times we see Lloyd Carr smile yesterday is when he's talking about some of these young backs.
I don't know how they're going to get them all on the field, Randy. I mean,
well, and they'll get Justin Vargas back next year. Maybe the back they thought would be the best this year.
Big play here. Dayton Dubac from Quebec, Canada. Sophomore receiver, Canadian native, 23-yard gain.
Kepler doing a nice job coming off of his primary receiver. He was covered, picks up his secondary guy, and Dubac catches that and turns into a running back. Although not an Anthony Thomas.
No, not quite. From the 15 of Northwestern. Not a whole lot there that time. That catch by Dubac a moment ago, his first career reception at Michigan, and Casper's first pass completion. You get a look at the ACC Big Ten Challenge coming up. Duke and Illinois at the United Center in Chicago. Call those numbers if you're interested for tickets. 312-455-4500 or 312-559-1212. That should be quite a matchup. Illinois in the top 20 this year to start the season. They almost won the Big Ten postseason tournament last year with a losing record. B.J. Askew on the move, and Mike Gleason. Let's get an update on the Penn State game. Mike, what do you have?
Well, Wayne, you're not going to believe this, so let's go up to Happy Valley. Remember 2 years ago, the game you called? Danny Nystrom, 32 yards, 2 seconds to go, right down the middle. And guess what? Penn State is no longer unbeaten. 24-23. Glen Mason's Gophers victorious in Happy Valley this afternoon. Wayne?
Oh, my goodness. Well, now that takes that BCS discussion we just had earlier today. Puts a whole new light on it, doesn't it?
Well, I think you can forget about the BCS right now. It becomes a who's going to win the Big Ten and go to the Rose Bowl. And right now, Penn State still in the driver's seat as they have one loss. Wisconsin has one loss with a tough game at Purdue. But if they both continue to win out, Wisconsin would not go. Penn State would go best overall record. However, Wisconsin's remaining game is going to be against Iowa. Penn State still plays Michigan and Michigan State.
Brandon Kornblue with the field goal, and Michigan extends its advantage. Along with Randy Wright, Jim Barber back at Michigan. Phil Brabs will be kicking off for the Wolverines. Well, I tell you what, everybody in the program's getting a shot at a situation like this, and that's good to see.
Some of them may not have even been in the program earlier.
Pretty nice return by Derek Thompson for Northwestern out near the 25-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10. Value City, big play of the game. It was maybe the prettiest play of the game. This is back in the first half. Marcus Knight runs the post, and Tom Brady puts it on his fingertips for the score. That made it a 12-0 ball game. The extra point made it 13-0, and Michigan went on to roll to a 27-0 advantage at halftime, and currently they lead 37-3.
You know, Wayne, every coach, I think, needs a big win like Glenn Mason got today to really turn their program around and make people all over believers. Ron Turner got it a couple weeks ago here at Michigan, and Glenn Mason got one today at Penn State.
Time winding down to this one, under a minute to go. Trying to hit Derek Thompson on the slant, pass off the mark. Get an update here on the scoreboard. How about that? Penn State falls at home to Minnesota. Michigan State gets back on the winning track. Illinois leading Iowa as they near halftime.
They were up bigger than that. Iowa coming back a little bit.
That's a pretty good rivalry, but Illinois-Iowa.
Turned into one the last couple of years, hasn't it?
It really has. It really started in the basketball program. Brian Brink, this time he's got Derek Thompson. Our next telecast, we will see those Golden Gophers against Antoine Randall L. and the Indiana Hoosiers. That'll be next week. Check your local listings. Noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time on the Big Ten Network.
Maybe the most exciting player as an individual in the Big Ten, Randall L.
And Thomas Hamner, leading rusher in yards per game.
Well, they have more control in that they still need help. Penn State still needs to lose, but now Penn State only needs to lose once rather than twice.
Exactly. And Penn State's got two tough ones coming up. Michigan at home, Michigan State on the road. I think Jay Tant lost that in the sun as he looked back for it. It hit him right in the face mask.
So you're right that Wisconsin has their destiny more in their control, but they still need help because Penn State's got to lose at least one more.
It would be foolhardy to predict that somebody's going to lose a game along the way, but certainly Penn State, with the kind of schedule they have remaining, could conceivably lose again, which means now you're talking about if they split their last two, Wisconsin wins out. Now you got a tie there and you got a choice.
Absolutely. Wisconsin would then go.
Brian Brink sails it over the head of Jay Tant with 6 seconds remaining in the football game.
You know, one thing, Wayne, as we have talked to these Big Ten coaches throughout the year, every one of them have said it's just so hard week in and week out to go through the Big Ten schedule undefeated. Well, when you look at some of the schools that the better teams played in the non-conference, all except Wisconsin, they played good quality teams. Ohio State, Michigan State, Michigan, Penn State, very tough competition.
Well, when you get 5 teams, 6 teams at times in the top 25, you're going to run into those teams along the way, and that's why it's so hard to sustain anything in the Big Ten. People knock each other off. Could be the final play of the game. Louis Ianni, a couple of nice moves here, reaching for the first down as time expires in this one. The Michigan Wolverines post a 37-3 victory over Northwestern. Tom Brady was on the mark today, and Anthony Thomas made it stand up. For Randy Wright, Jim Barber, our entire Big Ten crew, so long from Ann Arbor, Michigan, where the Wolverines have prevailed.